Naruto. Start signing in with the Tremor-Tremor Fruit. Chapter 26. The two of them were so busy that they had to face each other. Do you know Lord Orochimaru? This time it was Sakchan's turn to be confused. Did you see through our plan? Tianming looked at Sakchan coldly. To be honest, Tianming was helpless at this time. He knew that Orochimaru was waiting to attack Sasuke in the dark. If he stopped him, it might block Sasuke's way. If he didn't stop him, he would have to watch his teammates being beaten again. Zonkong wave. Just when Tianming was distracted, Sakchan quickly pulled away and chopped out a palm at the same time. An invisible energy shock wave bombarded. Boom. Tianming dodged the attack leisurely, and at the same time expressed his admiration for Sakatsuki's method. This method is to cause damage to the opponent by compressing air, which seems to be a bit similar to the Tremor-Tremor Fruit. Tianming took out the shuriken and shot it out. Two silver lights disappeared in front of his eyes in an instant, and the next moment they appeared on both sides. Explode. Sakatsuki pushed out with both hands, and the air-cutting wave gushed out again to bounce the shuriken away. Asshole, look at my multiple shadow clones. At this time, the other three people also ran back from behind. The untied Uzumaki Naruto raised his hand like a beast and used a forbidden technique. Suddenly, a dense number of Naruto clones appeared in the forest, attacking Sakatsuki at the same time. Facing the attack of multiple shadow clones, Sakatsuki calmly put his hands together. A strange sound wave came out from the wind tunnel in the palm of his hand, and the Naruto clones in the sky suddenly stagnated and twisted. Sound whistle. Sakuchan raised his palms flat, and a strange sound instantly penetrated the shadow clones. What? Uzumaki Naruto couldn't believe his eyes, because his most proud technique was disintegrated without even touching the enemy's hair. Break the chakra connection through the power of sound wave hurts. Tianming said lightly. Any ninjutsu requires chakra to operate. Naruto's multiple shadow clones are no exception. When approaching Sakuchan, the latter's sound whistle hurts shattered the connection between the main body and the clone, and then succeeded. Sakuchan did not answer Tianming, and approached Tianming with a single impact. He raised his hand and blasted several air-cutting waves at everyone in Team 7. Facing this powerful opponent, no one dared to confront him head-on. But Tianming did not retreat. Not only did he not retreat, he took a step forward and slowly raised his hand to press. Sakchan's air-cutting wave instantly stopped and swept to both sides. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Sakchan's attacking steps stopped abruptly. He could sense that the air-cutting wave was not defeated or assimilated, but suppressed by another force of compressed air. Unheard of. Sakchan's eyes changed again when he looked at Tianming. Is this the container that Lord Orochimaru has chosen? A trace of envy flashed across Sakchan's face, and then he quickly connected the seals with both hands. He saw that his two arms slowly began to shed skin and bleed, and the wind holes also turned red. Air-cutting tiger. With a roar from Sakchan, a tiger formed by chi appeared. It rushed towards Tianming. Sakchan made a fatal move, and Tianming would not show mercy to the enemy either. Shock the sword. Jade shattering. Tianming raised his hand and used the fruit power, randomly drawing a piece of air to form a blade, grabbing the blade and slashing out again. The white line that cut through everything instantly penetrated the chakra tiger and Sakura behind him. Sakura's eyes widened, and he now knew Tianming's method. He didn't know any sound ninjutsu, it was just pure force to crush the air. Boom. Sakura's body began to break into pieces and then turned into nothingness. Tianming could not use the fruit power, but when he fought with Sakura, he still chose to almost drain the chakra, just to let Orochimaru put a curse seal on Sasuke. In this way, he didn't feel aggrieved, and he didn't steal Sasuke's plug-in. Besides, he had a sign-in system, and there would be more rewards in the future, just a curse seal. After dealing with Sakura, before everyone could react, a big snake suddenly appeared in the depths of the forest. The snake rushed towards the three members of Team 7 and bit them. Uzumaki Naruto pushed Sasuke and Haruno Sakura away at the critical moment, but he was swallowed by the snake. Naruto. Uchiha Sasuke wanted to go up with his Sharingan, but was knocked away by the snake's tail. After breaking up Team 7, the snake opened its bloody mouth and a black dragon appeared again from its mouth. The snake with the color of the color. After the separation, the first snake to appear all slipped away, and the black snake actually rushed towards Tianming. Oh my god, what's going on? Tianming quickly jumped onto the tree trunk to avoid it, and before he could react, a figure appeared behind him. It was Orochimaru. Qingchuan Tianming, nice to meet you. Wearing a human skin mask, he said with a fake smile. I witnessed your battle throughout, your body is quite perfect, whether it is such a full chakra or the power to suppress everything. Hearing Orochimaru calling out his name, Tianming was puzzled. Orochimaru, why did you come to Konoha? Me. Orochimaru stretched out his tongue and licked the skin on the surface. I said it was for you, do you believe it? Orochimaru, why don't you play by the rules? The old man was very happy. Where is Uchiha Sasuke? How come he became me? Tianming's thoughts flew, and then he quickly found the reason. That was his first sign in task after turning on the system. The masked ninja on the Hokage rock is Orochimaru's. Look at your expression, it seems that you believe it. Orochimaru smiled and slid over the tree trunk. Great fireball technique. Tianming opened his mouth and spit out a ball of hot fireball, hitting Orochimaru head on. The latter did not dodge the flames and continued to approach. Although Tianming's physique is the ultimate chakra, to put it bluntly, the storage and recovery of chakra are above ordinary ninjas. But this does not mean that it is inexhaustible. After all, recovery takes time. And the Tremor-Tremor fruit consumes a lot of chakra, so the current great fireball technique is not painful at all. Tianming. After Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura rescued Uzumaki Naruto under the tree, they soon saw Tianming in trouble. You are no match for him. Run! Tianming shouted. In the original book, Orochimaru did not kill Team 7 because his target was Sasuke and he had more important things to do. But now Orochimaru's container's target has changed from Sasuke to himself. Then his motives may change. I can't abandon my companions. Uzumaki Naruto rushed up without saying anything. Although they have known each other for a short time. But Tianming's strength and the ability to turn the tide in the land of waves have long been recognized by everyone in Team 7. Boom. At this time, a big hole broke out in the ground and a purple snake broke out and blocked the way of Team 7. Naruto, let's go together. Uchiha Sasuke instantly opened his Sharingan and winked. Uzumaki Naruto understood and used the multiple shadow clone technique. The shadow clones in the sky restrained the purple snake, and Naruto's clone threw a kunai. Uchiha Sasuke stepped on the kunai and jumped over the purple snake's head, then locked Orochimaru's trajectory with the help of the Sharingan, and shot out the kunai with the detonating tag. Orochimaru's body paused slightly. The snake's tail waved and intercepted the detonating tag. Sasuke, can't you wait? Orochimaru smiled slightly, then stretched his neck and began to split into two heads, and then one by one came behind Qingchuan Tianming and Uchiha Sasuke like lightning and bit them. After being bitten, Tianming's pupils shrank slightly. This Orochimaru wants to. After being bitten, three comma-shaped curse seals appeared behind Uchiha Sasuke's neck. At the same time, the effect of the curse seal also took effect on Tianming, and Orochimaru's poison spread all over his body through the curse seal. Go to hell. At this time, the purple snake on the ground was torn into two pieces. Under the blood rain, Uzumaki Naruto, who had transformed into a tailed beast, attacked Orochimaru. Boom. Uzumaki Naruto punched Orochimaru's head, but the latter's head slightly squirmed and turned into a piece of wood. Substitution technique. The kid with the 9 tails. Orochimaru suddenly appeared behind Uzumaki Naruto and laughed coldly. Uzumaki Naruto turned around and punched again. But Orochimaru's action was faster, and a 5-element sealing technique was slapped on Uzumaki Naruto's belly. In an instant, the red chakra gradually retracted into Uzumaki Naruto's body. Uzumaki Naruto's red eyes also returned to azure blue. Finally, he fell to the ground with exhaustion. Now only Haruno Sakura is left in Team 7. Just as Orochimaru looked at Haruno Sakura, who had been frightened for a long time, a body appeared behind him. Wait. You can't kill her. Oh. Orochimaru looked back at Qingchuan Tianming who had struggled to get up and said in surprise, "You're the first person who can stand up after resisting the curse seal. Excellent containers are qualified to negotiate conditions." Orochimaru licked his lips and gave up the idea of eating Haruno Sakura. Qingquan Tianming, my expectations of you far exceed Sasuke. Become stronger, so that I can enjoy it to my heart's content. In addition, my curse seal can make you stronger. After Orochimaru said this, his body merged with the giant tree. I saved my life. The stone hanging in Tianming's heart finally fell. It is no exaggeration to say that if Orochimaru really wants to kill himself or the others in Team 7, he really can't resist now. But in the future, Tianming smiled when he thought of this. It was also from this time that Orochimaru began to doubt his snake life. Of course, this is all later. Tianming. Haruno Sakura came to the tree immediately after settling Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke. Xiaoying, Tianming was a little unsteady, but fortunately, Haruno Sakura pulled him up. My current situation is not good. I need you to protect us for a while. Although the power of the curse seal did not make Tianming ecstatic, it was still uncomfortable for his chakra to take the power of the curse seal. Leave it to me, Haruno Sakura said resolutely. She finally felt her powerlessness. But as a member of Team 7, it can't escape. Haruno Sakura quickly came to the tree with Tianming, and then moved the three boys into the tree hole one after another. But the good times didn't last long, because the uninvited guests were approaching. The two of them were lying flat on the ground. Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke were lying flat on the ground, and Tianming was in a slightly better situation. Tianming, what should I do? Asked Haruno Sakura. There are many ferocious beasts in the Death Forest, you can make some traps. Tianming replied. Haruno Sakura has not yet fully awakened, so she is a little confused. And Tianming can't say that you don't have to do anything and just wait to be beaten, right? With Tianming's instructions, Haruno Sakura quickly set up some traps around the tree hole. While Tianming was meditating to restore his chakra, he observed the surrounding bushes. At the same time, Tuki-Gen and Chinchu, who came because of the sound of fighting, also came nearby. Found it. Toki's eyes penetrated the bushes and soon saw Haruno Sakura guarding the cave entrance. Have you found Sakura? Chinchui came to Toki's side and looked in the direction of his sight. It's them. Chinchui was slightly stunned. Aren't they the companions of our target person? Hey, Toki said in a playful tone, how about we take the target person away first? Then find Sakura. Okay. The two hit it off. In their cognition, the task of kidnapping Qingquan Tianming is too simple. Just a genin. Although he is also a genin, Toki has always believed that he is a master of his peers. They came from the snake cave and served Orochimaru. How could their strength be comparable to the delicate and tender little ghosts of Konoha? Without even the thought of testing, Chinchui took out a flying needle with a bell and threw it out. Swish. The flying needle tore through the bushes and shot out towards Haruno Sakura outside the tree hole. Haruno Sakura reacted and picked up a kunai to block the flying needle, but she didn't block it at all. Haruno Sakura only felt a sharp pain in her left arm, and a tiny needle had pierced into it. When, the next moment, the hammer appeared behind Haruno Sakura and reached out to grab her long pink hair, Tuki-Gen, it's solved. The bandaged man Tuki-Gen slowly walked out of the bushes, glanced at Qingquan Tianming in the tree hole, and then sneered. It seems that someone has solved some troubles for us. Despicable. Haruno Sakura said viciously. Huh. Tuki-Gen said lightly. How can the law of the jungle be despicable? Tuki-Gen raised his foot and was about to enter the tree hole. Hey, don't you want to know where your companions are? Haruno Sakura said. Tuauchi-Gen stopped walking. Have you ever met Sakchan? Where is he now? Tuauchi-Gen and Sakchan are best friends. Is this how you ask questions? Haruno Sakura said coldly. I don't mind killing you first. Chinchui said and was about to start. Let her go. Tuauchi-Gen ordered. What? Chinchui didn't quite understand. Tuauchi, this may be a trick. Boom. Before Chinchui finished speaking, Tuauchi-Gen was already impatient, and the air holes on the device on his arm formed a force to hit Chinchui out. Really hit my teammates. What do you know about my friendship with Sakchan? Do you really think that a waste like you is qualified to be my companion? If it weren't for the order from Lord Orochimaru, I would have killed you long ago. Tuauchi-Gen moved his wrist with a cold tone. Chinchui was beaten to spit blood repeatedly but didn't dare to act rashly. After all, Tuauchi-Gen could really kill himself. Now you can tell me where Sakura is. Toki's eyes returned to Haruno Sakura again. Tell me your mother. Haruno Sakura screamed, and all the chakra in her body gathered on her fist, and then hit Toki. Facing Haruno Sakura's attack, Toki showed a cruel smile and punched out at the same time. The sound wave resonance from the air hole of the arm device directly blasted Haruno Sakura away. There was no way to get close. Haruno Sakura's petite body hit the tree roots and couldn't get up again, and her ears also bleed. When Tianming, who was going to force his move in the tree hole, was about to take action, several figures suddenly appeared in the woods next to him. Sakura. The first person to rush out of the bushes was Rock Lee in a green tights. When he was exploring the terrain nearby, he found the sound of fighting and chased after it. You're the one who hurt them like this. Rock Lee joined the battlefield and saw the seriously injured Haruno Sakura and Qingchuan Tianming, who was in a very bad condition. He immediately became angry. However, before he could, Tokujin answered, and roars came from the other direction. Inazuka Kiba rode Akamaru and joined the battlefield. Are you bullying my people from Konoha village? At this time, Tokujin's face changed, and he wondered if he was being played. Not to mention him, even Tianming in the tree hole didn't understand. According to normal development, it would take a while for the Konoha 12 to gather. But now it's ahead of schedule. Anyway, no matter what, the Sound 3 can brag about it for the rest of their lives. Because they were beaten by the Konoha 12. It's a big show. In a blink of an eye, several waves of people came to the open space in front of the tree hole. Shikamaru, is this your plan too? Team 10's Akamichi Choji appeared above the uncle, and behind him slowly walked Nara Shikamaru and Yamanaka Ino. The two of them were very happy. This is not my plan, it's just a coincidence. Nara Shikamaru said helplessly with a piece of grass in his mouth. He found a random direction to hurry and walked here. You are here too. Nara Shikamaru quickly found other people and asked Aburame Shino. Among his peers, Nara Shikamaru might be interested in Team 8's Aburame Shino because both of them are very bored. Tenmei. Hinata Hyuga couldn't help shouting as she watched Tenmei trembling and walking out of the tree hole. This is Qingchuan Tenmei. Nara Shikamaru also looked up and down at the genius who could kill Chunin in everyone's mouth. It looks very ordinary. Akamichi Choji muttered while eating potato chips. It seems that we don't need to take action. At this time, Hyuga Neji and Tenten also appeared on the side. Now, all the 12 Konoha warriors are here. Toki Jin swallowed his saliva. Do you want to fight in a group? Men don't need to fight in a group. We fight one-on-one. Rock Lee said with blood. He also removed the bandage on his hand. What's wrong with Xiao Li? Hyuga Neji was a little confused. Rock Lee played so big right at the beginning. This move was originally prepared for Neji, now let you have a taste. Rock Lee made a starting posture, and then rushed out in the blink of an eye, with a speed that was astonishing. Why are you still standing there? Attack together. Toki Jin shouted in a low voice, and the hammer on the side threw the flying needle again. Little Lee, be careful, there is a bell on the flying needle, the sound of the bell is confusing, and there is a second needle. Haruno Sakura was helped up by Tianming and shouted. Hearing Haruno Sakura's reminder, Rock Lee was even more excited. Note that the flying needle does not exist. Now is the best time to show yourself to your sweetheart. Block it. If the flying needle hit Rock Lee's body and hit the iron plate, Rock Lee would not be safe after eating the flying needle. But he chose to rush directly. In a blink of an eye, Rock Lee ran in front of Toki Jin and kicked the latter's chin with an upward kick. With the sound of the chin breaking, Toki Jin was kicked away. Then Rock Lee also jumped directly and came behind Toki Jin's board. The arm bandage that had just been untied in the air tied Rock Lee and the enemy into a ball. Biao Lianhua. The two fell to the ground at high speed. Boom. The ground was covered with cracks, and even the earth was shaking. The 11 young warriors of Konoha were stunned. In the eyes of his peers, Rock Lee was on the same level as Uzumaki Naruto. One was a monster with the 9 tails Jinchuriki, and the other was an existence that did not need to use chakra or ninjutsu. But now, the 11 young warriors of Konoha had a new understanding of Rock Lee. On the tree trunk, Hyuga Neji of the third team's eyes changed slightly. Is this guy so strong? Sure enough, the moves he prepared for himself were not bad. Did he win? Haruno Sakura said hurriedly. Others also shifted their sights to the smoke. No, Xiao Li lost. Tianming said lightly. As Tianming finished speaking, a gust of wind blew, blowing away the smoke in the middle of the venue, and the information inside was also displayed in front of him. Rock Lee was held in Toki Gen's hand with one hand, and he was dying. Toki Gen was not relaxed either. He was covered with wounds and his left arm was drooping weakly. Little Lee. Haruno Sakura exclaimed. Interesting, really interesting, do you think you can win? Toki Gen grinned and brushed Rock Lee towards the giant tree beside him. Swish. Hyuga Neji appeared and held Rock Lee's body with a soft palm. Tenten came from behind and threw a scroll, piercing through the ninja tools in the sky. Don't rush to do it. Toki Gen pushed all the ninja tools with one hand. Don't you have to wait for everyone to come together before you start? Toki Gen said as he bit his finger and knelt on the ground to draw a seal. Summoning technique. Tianming frowned. It seems that Toki Gen is more difficult to deal with than he thought. After the summoning technique was completed, the blood mark on the ground emitted a faint red light, and dozens of ninjas stepped out of it in the flashing light. Is there such a method? Except for Tianming, no one present could tell that this was a summoning technique, but now even Tianming couldn't understand it. Summoning technique does not summon beasts. These are all people from our village, I killed them all. Then Lord Orochimaru trained them into a legion of dead soldiers. You all have to die today. This technique is Toki's biggest killer move, and he consumes a lot of energy when using this technique. At this juncture, there is no need to say anything. The battle is about to start. Let's go. Akamichi Choji threw away the half bag of potato chips in his hand, and took the seal with both hands. He launched his own special skills. Human bomb tank. Akamichi Choji took a deep breath, and his originally fat body grew again like a ball, and at the same time retracted into his body and began to roll rapidly. The target is in the middle of the Death Army. Shadow imitation technique. Nara Shikamaru is a master of coordination. A shadow imitation technique immediately fixed the Death Army that could not dodge in time. The dead soldiers were standing still because they were hit by Nara Shikamaru's shadow imitation technique, but Akamichi Choji's meat bomb tank had already crushed them unreasonably. Akamaru, come together. Inuzuka Kiba lay on the ground and gathered his chakra on his 4 legs, 4-legged technique. Inuzuka Kiba, who used his hands and feet, improved his speed and strength by more than 1 level. Together with Akamaru who had eaten the soldier pill, they rushed into the pile of dead soldiers. Secret technique. Spear of insects. Countless parasitic insects crawled out of the sleeves of Aburame Shino, condensed into a spear and pierced through. For a while, various ninjutsu had already bombarded the dead soldiers. But the truth was beyond everyone's expectation. The dead warrior who was completely crushed into slag by a meat bomb tank actually squirmed and reassembled his body. Inuzuka Kiba who rushed into the encirclement could not cause any damage because of the large number of dead warriors. Even the insect spear of Aburame Shino was absorbed after piercing 4 or 5 dead warriors. Ha 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 ha, do you have any other ninjutsu? Tokujin laughed grimly, and the Kama seal on his neck began to take effect, and the flame-like lines suddenly covered his body. Tianming, who witnessed the battle in the tree hole, roughly deduced a fact that was very terrifying to him. That is, the Naruto world has changed more or less. In the original work, Orochimaru's target has always been Uchiha Sasuke, and now he has added himself. In the original work, Tokujin is strong among the 3 sound ninjas, but he is not to this extent. The summoning technique plus the Orochimaru seal, this has reached the level of an elite monster. Thinking of this, Tianming felt the curse seal on his shoulder again. The discomfort in his body had gradually weakened, and the burning sensation brought by the curse seal also slowly subsided. Tianming used the ultimate chakra to resist the power of the curse seal. You want to swallow chakra? Okay. Then let you swallow it. Thinking of this, Tianming looked at Uchiha Sasuke who was still unconscious on the ground. Although Uchiha Sasuke had 2 Sharingans before he became an adult, he had no divine power and could not use it. Except for the great fireball technique that could never hurt anyone, there was basically nothing else. The power of the curse seal was very useful to him. Chakra can achieve a balance with the power of the curse seal. Thinking of this, Tianming hurriedly called Haruno Sakura. Sakura, come and help, I have a way to wake Sasuke up quickly. Outside the tree hole, the most impressive Toki in the history of Naruto successfully fought with the 12 little strongmen of Konoha. After Hyuga Neji handed Rock Lee to Tenten, he stood up without hesitation. This arrogant genius of the Hyuga family was rarely angry. The next move is for Rock Lee. Hyuga Neji said lightly. On the other side, after using the parasitic bug to heal Inuzuka Kiba, Aburame Shino said seriously, Hinata, please take care of Kiba. I'm going to get serious. At the 10th team, Nara Shikamaru gently held his forehead and said, I hate fighting the most, but you hurt Choji, I will teach you a lesson. No one would have thought that the joint operation of the 12 little strongmen was actually promoted by an outsider. Toki Gen was not unscathed either, and most of his warriors were dispersed, and many of them could not be used. And each one of them is his hard work. Don't be angry, don't be angry. Kill you and bring back the target person, and you can still have something better. Toshiki gave up the power to resist the curse seal and immediately spurted out a mouthful of blood, but the other dead soldiers around him were stronger. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Secret technique. Insect tornado. Shadow imitation technique, split. While the melee was going on outside, Tianming in the tree hole was transmitting chakra to Uchiha Sasuke. This chakra transmission is not as simple as in martial arts novels. It requires Haruno Sakura to use medical ninjutsu, and Tianming is holding her shoulders to transmit chakra. The pure chakra passes through Haruno Sakura's body and then enters Uchiha Sasuke's body in the form of medical ninjutsu. At this time, Haruno Sakura felt a little subtle, she felt that she was just a tool. While Tianming was transmitting chakra to Uchiha Sasuke, he was also paying attention to the battle outside. Reality has always been skinny. The 3 people outside still failed to kill Toshiki. They all used killing moves, and chakra was scarce. As for Toki Gen, all his warriors were wiped out. At the moment when Nara Shikamaru threw out the explosive talismans all over the sky, Toki Gen pulled the hammer in front of him. He is really just a tool man. After the explosion, Toki Gen put down the hammer's body, then touched the hammer's blood with his fingers and then made a seal on the ground. The blood seal disappeared into the ground. In an instant, a big snake broke out of the ground. When the big snake came out, the hammer was also exhausted. The blood that the big snake needed to summon the hammer was exhausted the moment it appeared. I used this trick to kill a Chunin. You can be proud of such treatment. Oh, I think I have killed a Chunin too. At the critical moment, Tianming walked out of the tree hole and glanced at Toki Gen indifferently. The 2 of them were very close, and the 2 of them were very close. Qingchuan Tianming. Tuouchjun looked at Tianming, who stood up and couldn't help laughing and said, You are the container that Lord Orochimaru designated, but I won't hold back if you get in my way, okay? Hey! Tianming laughed out loud and said, That's what the sound ninja just said. Do you know the whereabouts of Sakatsuki? Tuouchjun's ferocious face changed slightly. Tianming shook his head and said softly, I chopped him to pieces with one blow, not even a scrap was left, he should have fallen somewhere in the forest. After saying this, Toki Gen was silent for a while and then said, Although you are the target. But since you killed Sak Chen, just go and die. The big snake beside Toki Gen immediately gave up the few people on the ground and opened its bloody mouth towards Tianming. The relationship between Toki Gen and Sak Chen is unimaginable to others. Even if killing the target will be punished by Lord Orochimaru, he will not hesitate. Facing the attack of the summoned snake, Tianming rushed out without dodging, and the chakra of his whole body gathered in his palm to burst out violent lightning. Reikiri. Tianming turned the lightning into a sword-like attack and instantly pierced the mouth of the snake. After the successful attack, Tianming was not at ease, because once the chakra was used, the power of the curse would be triggered. Because of the curse seal, Tianming's Reikiri was not killed directly. The big snake that fell to the ground and stood up again was blown to pieces. When the violent big snake attacked again, a figure rushed out. Uchiha Sasuke was covered with the lines of the curse seal. He quickly formed a seal with one hand, and the attack like a sky fire meteor came out of his mouth. The power of the curse seal was even stronger. Roar! The big snake took a few rounds of the great fireball technique and landed again. Sasuke. Seeing Uchiha Sasuke waking up, Haruno Sakura trotted over. Who hurt you like this? Uchiha Sasuke said coldly. As he said that, he locked onto the stunned Toki-gen. Now Toki-gen's mentality collapsed directly. What did he see? He saw the lines on Uchiha Sasuke's body. That was a unique curse seal that only Lord Orochimaru could plant. Didn't they say that there was only one target? Then who is this stranger with the power of the curse seal? Could it be that they have gone through life and death but are not even worthy of knowing the real plan and deployment? Just as you think. Tianming took advantage of your weakness and said, you three are tools, used for us to level up. No. No. Impossible. We are the most loyal subordinates of Lord Orochimaru. Absolutely impossible. Toki-gen's eyes were red, and he looked crazy. He was seen urging chakra like crazy. Even if it accelerated the backlash of the curse seal, he would kill these two people. Ah! When Toki-gen went crazy, the big snake beside him also screamed and bit towards Uchiha Sasuke, who directly fought. And Toki-gen desperately urged chakra and the power of the curse seal. This was his life-threatening move. Go to hell. Toki-gen put his hands together, and the pores on his arms sprayed out wisps of red mist. The mist was accompanied by extremely high temperatures, and even the bushes behind him were almost burned. Forbidden technique. Sound fire strike. When he used all his strength to attack and released it completely, the violent chakra residual power knocked everyone else away. Facing such an opponent, Tianming did not have much expression on his face. He did not make a seal, and his 5 palms were open. Then he clenched his fists. At this moment, it seemed that the way chakra flowed had changed. Air shock. Using the power of the fruit without reservation, Tianming punched out, and it felt like an invisible cage fell from the sky, covering Toki-gen. The punch hit the air as if it hit a wall. Crack, crack, crack. White cracks appeared around Toki-gen. At this moment, Toki-gen felt his scalp tingling. There were cracks in the air. Before Toki Anvil could react, the sound of crackling intensified. The air cage formed pressure on his body. Then, the white cracks quickly spread over his body. Boom. The next moment, while the air cage was disintegrating, Toki Anvil was also directly shaken into nothingness. With the ability of the Junjun fruit at the realization stage, Tianming could only use a small range of Jundao and Air Gen, and in the eyes of others, this move killed people in 1 second. On the other side, because of the death of the psychic, the big snake was killed by Uchiha with double Sharingan fully opened. Sasuke found the weakness, and then pierced the snake's vital point with a kunai. After the battle, Tianming and Uchiha Sasuke fell down at the same time. At this time, Tianming also fell into a coma. The 12 Konoha warriors present were silent for a while. They couldn't believe that the strength of Team 7 was so strong. Since we are all from the same village, I won't take your scrolls. Nara Shikamaru left the place first, and when he left, Team 10 followed closely. Sakura, are you okay? Rock Lee asked with concern. Let's go. Hyuga Neji grabbed Rock Lee's neck and left without saying a word. In the end, only Team 8 was left. Hyuga Hinata looked at the unconscious Tianming with a worried look on her face. Sakura, please take good care of Tianming. Hinata Hyuga said as if she realized something. There are also Naruto and Sasuke. Let's go. Inuzuka Kiba and Aburame Shino Tetsu Naoto couldn't hear it. But Haruno Sakura understood it, and her guard was also put down. Don't worry, leave them to me. The second round of the Chunin exam lasted 5 days. Team 7 was the worst team in this Chunin exam. They were abused by Orochimaru at the beginning and then picked up by the Sound Ninja Trio. Now they are out of danger, but now they have nothing except the Earth Scroll. By a small river, the 3 people who had been unconscious for 2 days woke up. When Uzumaki Naruto heard that Tianming and Sasuke were fighting against Toki, he regretted for a while and complained that no one woke him up. Naruto, who was crying, finally got Haruno Sakura's hammer of justice. It's the 3rd day now, all the teams have got the scrolls, right? Haruno Sakura looked at the scroll of earth in her hand and felt a little depressed. If we can't get the scroll of heaven, we will be eliminated. Sakura, look at it more and more openly. Uzumaki Naruto comforted. How can I look at it openly? Time is getting tighter and tighter, but we can't find the scroll of heaven. Haruno Sakura shook her head. Forget it. You don't understand. While the two happy enemies were quarreling, Tianming and Uchiha Sasuke on the side were very silent. Qingchuan Tianming, I have something to tell you. Uchiha Sasuke stood up suddenly and said. Go ahead. Tianming responded. Can I talk for a moment? Uchiha Sasuke looked at Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura and turned to leave. I'll go and see. Although he felt a little puzzled, Tianming followed. Arriving at a deserted place, Uchiha Sasuke in front stopped and turned around and said, You were bitten by that guy too, right? Tianming nodded and waited for the next words. The mark on the back of the neck is lingering and will eat away the chakra. I could feel it when I was unconscious. Pure chakra entered my body and helped me suppress the pain. I know it was you who did it, so. At this point, Uchiha Sasuke shut up. So what? It was the first time that Tianming heard Uchiha Sasuke say so many words at once. Uchiha Sasuke's face showed a trace of embarrassment. In the end, he chose to leave the scene quickly and said thank you when he passed by Tianming. This guy said thank you. Tianming smiled very much. Looking back, he could see that Uchiha Sasuke's back was very stiff. It seemed that he had never said thank you before. But at this time, coincidentally, his stomach made a protesting sound. Tianming was helpless. The second round of the Chunin exam required 5 days in the Death Forest, so everyone prepared food before entering. The 7th edition of the King Bomb was about to start. Forget food, it would be great to save your life. Wait for me here, I'll get some food. Tianming shouted in the direction of the 3 people, and then walked deep into the forest. The 3 people by the stream heard Tianming's voice and replied to be more careful. Ah! Uzumaki Naruto clenched his fist and touched his backpack with a flash of inspiration, and several scrolls fell out of it. These things look the same, why don't we change the words? Uzumaki Naruto said thoughtfully while holding the fire scroll. Naruto, this is cheating. Haruno Sakura was shocked. What is in this Uzumaki Naruto's mind? Cheating. It's cheating. Cheating also requires skills. Uzumaki Naruto reached out and picked up the earth scroll and was about to open it. No. At this time, a big hand reached out and took the earth scroll first. The person who came was none other than Kabuto Yakushi, who had met everyone once before. Uchiha Sasuke, who was watching from the side, was about to fight when he saw the scroll being snatched, but Kabuto Yakushi took the initiative to return the scroll. Don't get me wrong, I got separated from my companions, and I didn't want to snatch your scroll. Kabuto Yakushi explained, I stopped you because the scroll can't be opened. Can't be opened? Why? Asked Naruto Uzumaki. The scroll of heaven and earth contains an illusion that causes ninjas to sleep. If it is opened, the whole team will fall asleep immediately until the end of the assessment, Kabuto Yakushi explained. So scary. Naruto Uzumaki almost threw the scroll in his hand. Thank you, brother Glasses. My name is Kabuto Yakushi, you can just call me Kabuto. Kabuto Yakushi smiled and stretched out his hand. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, these are my companions Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno, and the other one, Aokawa Tenmei, went to get food. Naruto Uzumaki has always been a big-headed person and doesn't object to making friends. I see, but why did you get food? Didn't you prepare it in advance? It's a long story. Maybe it was because of the repeated help from Pharmacist Do, or maybe it was because he was. Be kind. Uzumaki Naruto told the details of everything that happened when Team 7 entered the Forest of Death. Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura were not happy with Uzumaki Naruto for telling such a secret, but they could not find any fault with Kabuto Yakushi. But what Uzumaki Naruto did not notice was that when he talked about Qingchuan Tianming killing the Sound Ninja Trio, Kabuto Yakushi's expression changed slightly. At the same time, somewhere in the Forest of Death, Tianming shuttled through the woods and got a lot of wild fruits to fill his stomach. Just as he was about to return the same way, a bear roar came from the hillside. Bear. Tianming immediately threw the wild fruit on the ground. Why would he eat fruit if he had meat to eat? On the hillside, a red girl was being chased by a black bear. The girl was holding a wounded little rabbit in her arms and moving flexibly, while the big bear behind her was chasing after her like a bulldozer, breaking trees. The girl's name was Uzumaki Karen, and she was a ninja from Kusagaku who participated in the Chunin exam. However, unlike other ninjas, Karen was a ninja, but her combat ability was not strong. She mostly served as a medical ninja in the team. In the Forest of Death, she got separated from her teammates and picked up a wounded little white rabbit. When she was treating the little white rabbit, she was chased by the man-eating bear. The big bear in the Forest of Death was more ferocious than ordinary beasts, and ordinary ninjutsu could not hurt it at all. Oh my! Uzumaki Karen, who was running away in a hurry, missed a step and rolled down the hillside, then hit the tree. When she looked up, the big bear had already come to her and raised his huge paw to slap her hard. Uzumaki Karen closed her eyes and waited for death to come. However, the expected heavy blow did not come. When she opened her beautiful eyes, she saw a tall figure blocking her way. It turns out that there are really brutal beasts in the Death Forest. Tianming saw the big bear attacking people when he climbed over the hillside. When the bear's paw fell, Tianming arrived in time, took out the kunai and poked it into the bear's paw. The big bear's paw stopped, and it looked at the blood spurting out of the kunai piercing its palm, and then it reacted and screamed. The crazy big bear slapped again, and the strong wind made people's faces hurt. Boom! With a palm strike, the surrounding thick trees were broken in half, and Tianming rushed out holding Uzumaki Karen. It was a close call. Tianming, who had escaped the disaster, put Uzumaki Karen down and took a casual look. He almost went blind after seeing this. It's not that Uzumaki Karen is too ugly, but Tianming really didn't expect to meet Karen. Thank you. Being saved by Tianming at a critical moment and being stared at so directly, Uzumaki Karen couldn't help blushing despite her cold personality. It's not a big deal. Tianming laughed when he realized that he was always staring at her. Why are you here? Tianming asked. My name is Uzumaki Karen, I'm from Kusagaku village. I got separated from my companions and then I met it. Uzumaki Karen said and raised the little white rabbit. My name is Qingchuan Tianming, a ninja from Konoha village. Since you got separated from your companions, if you don't mind, come with me. Tianming said. It's not that he doesn't know Karen, but he has to pretend that they are meeting for the first time. To be more precise, Tianming has to maintain a feeling of knowing each person in the Naruto world for the first time, otherwise the consequences will be serious. And what can I say about Uzumaki Karen? She can be regarded as a relatively miserable character. Her misery is not reflected in her life experience, but in her experience. Uzumaki Karen, a mobile blood bag, one of the few survivors of the Uzumaki clan, has the most special chakra, and is the pinnacle of medical ninjas. In the original plot, Karen was recruited by Orochimaru because of her unusually sharp perception in the Chunin exam. This is not the worst. The worst is that she is the #1 fangirl of Uchiha Sasuke. She can't get the love she wants, supports all of Sasuke's decisions, and finally, when killing Danzo, she was stabbed together. It's really miserable. Is there something on my face? Seeing Tianming staring at her again, Uzumaki Karen said softly, and lowered her head shyly. I'm thinking about how to kill this bear. Tianming, who was extremely embarrassed, immediately shifted the topic to the big bear. Big bear. I'm not a human, but you're really a dog. Of course, the big bear's thoughts were not important. Tianming had already approached the big bear, and when the big bear's angry paw slapped, the kunai in Tianming's hand pierced its neck first. One hit to kill, without any flaws. So powerful. Uzumaki Karen couldn't help but praise. Not only powerful but also delicious. Tianming took off the kunai and began to prepare the huge bear corpse like a butcher. After removing some unnecessary ones, Tianming quickly filled a large bag of bear meat. At this time, the sky gradually darkened. Tianming looked up at the sky and considered the return journey. He resolutely chose to spend a night before returning to Team 7. After using chakra to create a fire, Tianming began to grill the meat. The meat was grilled in no time, golden in texture and fragrant. Here. Tianming handed the first skewer of grilled meat to Uzumaki Karen. Can you eat? Uzumaki Karen was stunned. It was the first time she had been treated like this. The Kusagaku village was far away from Konoha. When she was on the road, she had to wait for several men to finish eating before she could eat the leftovers. Eat more. Tianming took Uzumaki Karen's hand and put the skewer in his palm. Tianming, who knew Karen's life, didn't say much, but just grilled the meat silently. Uzumaki Karen ate the meat voraciously while she shed tears, but there was no crying. After a while, after eating and drinking, Uzumaki Karen lay on the grass and looked at the night sky and suddenly said, "Qingchuan Tianming, can I follow you?" "Sure. I mean to follow you all the time. You can't wait to see the results. Can I follow you forever?" This sentence confused Tianming, but it's not strange to think about it carefully. Uzumaki Karen is a person who lacks love. Before meeting Qingchuan Tianming, she was a mobile blood bag. Because of the unique physique of the Uzumaki clan, Uzumaki Karen's chakra has a strong healing effect. As long as she sucks blood, it is sometimes even better than medical ninjutsu. Apart from this function, Uzumaki Karen seems to have no value. She can represent the Kusagakure village in the Chunin exam just as a resource. I didn't say that. Uzumaki Karen's beautiful eyes moved and she quickly changed her words. She is just a mobile blood bag. How can she have the qualifications to hope for it? Yes. Tianming said seriously. What? Uzumaki Karen suspected that she had heard it wrong. I said yes. Tianming repeated again. You can follow me until you want to leave. Then let's make a promise. Uzumaki Karen stretched out her little finger. Tianming looked down and saw the dense teeth marks on her snow-white arm, and felt uncomfortable. Promise. Tianming decisively stretched out his hand and touched Uzumaki Karen's fingers. From then on, the ninja world had a fanatical Qingchuan Tianming's #1 fangirl. On the other side, night fell. Team 7 by the stream still didn't wait for Qingchuan Tianming to come back. Qingchuan Tianming won't be in trouble. Haruno Sakura said worriedly. Impossible. Uchiha Sasuke has always been frugal with words. Tianming's strength is so strong, there will be no problem. Uzumaki Naruto comforted, saying that no one should question Qingchuan Tianming's strength. Even though Haruno Sakura had not experienced the incident in Wave Country, Qingchuan Tianming has been the absolute backbone of Team 7 since the Chunin exam began. Can I express my opinion? At this time, Kabuto Yakushi interrupted. You say. Kabuto Yakushi pushed his glasses and said meaningfully, I think we should leave for the central tower immediately. Based on my experience so many times, if we delay any longer, I am afraid there will not be enough time. But we don't have the scroll of heaven. Haruno Sakura asked the question. The scroll of heaven is easy. Kabuto Yakushi said confidently. All the groups in the second round of exams will eventually go to the central tower. We just need to be one step ahead and wait for it. Yes. Uzumaki Naruto's eyes lit up. This is indeed a good idea. Waiting for it is indeed better than our random search, but what about Tianming? Haruno Sakura was also a little shaken. Don't worry at all. Kabuto Yakushi continued, maybe he encountered some trouble. But with Qingchuan Tianming's strength, there should be only a handful of people who can hurt him in the second round. I believe that if he returns here and finds that we are gone, he will definitely go to the central tower. If we choose to wait, it won't take long. Even at dawn, there won't be enough time. After a long paragraph, the few people fell into a strange silence. Kabuto, what will you do? Uzumaki Naruto asked. I have been separated from my companions. If I go alone rashly, it won't work, so I decided to go with you. I respect your choice. Even if I fail in the second round, I can just start over. With Kabuto Yakushi's character, it is easy to control Team 7. Having said that, there is no reason to refuse. In that case, then we will go to the central tower with Kabuto to grab the scroll of heaven from other teams. Uzumaki Naruto said, when Tianming comes, we can also advance, and Kabuto can also reunite with his companions. Win-win. I have no objection. Haruno Sakura expressed her opinion. Let's do it. Uchiha Sasuke has already started to pack his backpack. Kabuto Yakushi's eyes lightly passed over Uchiha Sasuke, and then he regained his clarity. No words all night. Tianming, who had rested on the grass for a night, has recovered. Uzumaki Karen has also recovered as before because she didn't suffer any injuries. Let's go. Tianming said. Okay. Uzumaki Karen didn't ask where to go. When she decided to follow, the answer was no longer important. The two turned back and soon returned to the small river where Team 7 had settled before. Strange, where are the people? Looking at the empty river, Tianming frowned and thought. That's right. Kabuto Yakushi. How could he forget this? During this period, Yakushi Kabuto was simply a boss. Other existence. Tianming, there are people nearby. Uzumaki Karen, who has an extremely strong perception ability, quickly found something wrong. The next moment, the originally calm water surface of the stream suddenly became turbulent. The grass and trees beside him also trembled, and in the blink of an eye, several teams of people came out. Captain. Uzumaki Karen was stunned when she saw the person coming. Isn't this the leader of their grass country? Oh. Karen, why are you with the target person? Come here. The leading grass country ninja said lightly. No. You are not the captain. Uzumaki Karen instantly sensed the difference in the other person's aura. The secret was discovered, and the secret was discovered. Is this the ability of the Uzumaki clan? The leading ninja snorted coldly and took off his disguise. It was obvious that the person who came was his old friend, the Sound Ninja. It seems that you have infiltrated a lot. Tianming protected in front of Uzumaki Karen. Stop talking nonsense. The Sound Ninja said without any good face. We are here to capture you and take you back to the Snake Cave on the orders of Lord Orochimaru. Don't make useless resistance. Orochimaru followed the time of the Chunin exam and came to capture Qingchuan Tianming just for the sake of attacking Konoha. After all, it is not necessary to make such a big fuss for a container. For this, Orochimaru also made a lot of arrangements. 3-line infiltration, these top secrets Tianming knew very well. You are so self-righteous, it's really funny. Tianming laughed out loud and said, Lord Orochimaru is so generous, and he keeps giving me heads. Hearing Tianming's joke, the leading Sound Ninja immediately took out the shuriken and shot it out. This action directly made the Sound Ninjas from all directions start together. The shuriken from all directions cut through the air and aimed at the two people in the middle. Boom! Tianming stomped his feet. The thick chakra in his body pressed out horizontally and stopped all the shurikens. When he started to use chakra again, the curse seal behind his neck began to take effect, and the burning sensation came again. Swish! The leading Sound Ninja rushed over first, and when the kunai in his hand turned, bursts of sound whistles were emitted. How can you resist when your curse seal takes effect? The leading Sound Ninja approached Tianming with a wild laugh, and the kunai also pierced Tianming's thigh like lightning. Their mission is to bring back Tianming, and they can't kill him, they can only capture him. Ding! Just a curse seal. The kunai in Tianming's hand collided with the aggressive kunai. The power of the curse seal made him suffer so much yesterday, all because he used the power of the fruit to take it hard, but now. The chakra swallowed by that little curse seal power is not as much as the chakra he randomly generates. That's what I said, you want to swallow. Let you eat. When the two kunai collided, the leading Sound Ninja had already noticed something unusual. Tianming's power is amazing. Realizing this, the leading Sound Ninja stepped back and wanted to distance himself, but it was too late. Tianming took a step forward, and his right leg kicked up to the sky like lightning. With the sound of the jaw shattering, the leading Sound Ninja was hit in the chin and flew into the air. Without waiting for the others to react, Tianming had already rushed forward and instantly summoned dozens of shadow clones. Naruto's continuous bombs. Not happening. Because the leading Sound Ninja could not land, Tianming's clones kicked the leading Sound Ninja one by one. Tianming's original body was superb in physical skills, and now the curse seal was activated again, so the force was strengthened again. In the end, the leading Sound Ninja was kicked to death. At this time, the Sound Ninjas on the side finally reacted, and they were a little scared. What happened? The leader first released shuriken and took kunai to get close to the opponent and was kicked away. Kicked to death directly. And these younger brothers only released a wave of shuriken from beginning to end. However, just when the others were stunned, Uzumaki Karen on the ground hit out with a diamond blockade. This move is a unique technique of the Uzumaki clan. I saw the chakra in Uzumaki Karen rushed out of her body to form chains that directly bound the remaining Sound Ninjas. After being hit by the diamond seal, the chakra in the body instantly stagnated. The Otonin who cannot use chakra is no different from an ordinary person. Tianming fell from the sky and saw this scene, and was also slightly stunned. It was worthy of being Karen. Although her ninjutsu and combat power were not very good, her perception and insight on the battlefield were second to none. After exchanging glances with Uzumaki Karen, Tianming killed them one by one without too many words. Facing the enemy, Tianming never showed mercy. After all, this is a world where meat is eaten by the strong. Karen, you did a good job. Tianming gave a thumbs up. Uzumaki Karen was stunned for a moment, and then smiled like a flower. So this is the feeling of being recognized by others. Time passed by minute, and finally the second round of the Chunin exam was coming to an end. When Tianming and Uzumaki Karen arrived at the central tower, a lot of people had gathered there. All the 12 young warriors of Konoha were present, and Uzumaki Naruto of Team 7 waved his hand, holding the Heaven and Earth scroll in his hand. Tianming, we passed. Are they your companions? Uzumaki Karen asked in a low voice. It will be yours in the future. Tianming smiled and said, let's go together. Tianming, are you okay? Where have you been? Why are you so slow? By the way, who is this girl? Uzumaki Naruto opened his mouth and asked a bunch of questions. Naruto. Haruno Sakura next to him hit him with a righteous iron fist. You ask so quickly, how do you want Tianming to answer? Let me introduce you to everyone. This is my friend Uzumaki Karen who I met in the forest. Tianming introduced generously. Uzumaki. What a coincidence. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. An optimist like Uzumaki Naruto is naturally easy to accept newcomers. While they were having fun, Tianming felt a hostile look, but he ignored it. It's okay, but it's not necessary. The dead body was buried in the tomb. As all the ninjas who participated in the Chunin exam arrived at the central tower one after another, the Konoha ninjas in charge of the second round found the bodies of several ninjas from Kusagakur village somewhere outside the periphery, all of whom had their faces removed. After arriving at the scene, examiner Mitarashi Anko returned to the Konoha office without saying a word to report. Did Orochimaru infiltrate? Sarutobi Hiruzen muttered as he listened to Mitarashi Anko's report. I won't make a mistake. That method must be his. Mitarashi Anko said with a complicated look. As a disciple of an S-level rebel ninja, she was under a lot of psychological pressure. I understand, but the Chunin exam cannot be cancelled. Give orders to have all the Jonin of Konoha rush to the central tower, and let the Chunin be responsible for the outer reconnaissance. Sarutobi Hiruzen is a man who maintains stability. If Konoha interferes with the Chunin exam out of fear of Orochimaru, then Konoha is likely to become a topic of conversation for future generations, which is something Sarutobi Hiruzen cannot accept. Yes. The people who passed the second round waited in the central tower for a while, and the iron door inside slowly opened, and several familiar figures appeared. They were all the head teachers of several classes in Konoha and well-known Jonin. Teacher Kakashi. Uzumaki Naruto shouted. Hitaki Kakashi nodded in response. Sharp-eyed Tianming found that Hitaki Kakashi did not hold the intimate paradise, and he would only be so serious when something extraordinary happened. Like Hitaki Kakashi, there are other Jonin who receive orders from the third Hokage, not only to guard against the harassment of Orochimaru, but also to ensure the smooth progress of the Chunin exam. It can be said that the pressure is huge. At this time, Mitarashi Anko came out and swept her beautiful eyes over all the genin present and said, this year's situation is very unusual. The number of people who passed the second round is more than in previous years, so we decided to temporarily modify the rules. The team with the Scroll of Heaven and Earth will recalculate the individual comprehensive performance and divide the area. The people in the area will conduct a preliminary selection. The final winners will be the top 10 to obtain the qualification of Chunin. The detailed situation below will be explained by the examiner of the third round, Moonlight Gale. Quote. Ahem. Moonlight Gale is a complete sickly person, the kind who coughs twice for every sentence he says. Teacher Mitarashi Anko has already explained it very comprehensively. I will add a little bit. The current rules, the current rules are that the team with the Scroll of Heaven and Earth is eligible to participate in the preliminary selection, and the preliminary selection will become a personal battle. People in the score area will fight one-on-one, and it may be people from the same village or the same team, Tianming listened from behind, and his heart became a little subtle. This Chunin exam seemed different from the original one. In the original plot, all those who passed the second round were dispersed and randomly drawn. But now the score areas are divided. After saying this, Moonlight Gale didn't waste any words. He took out the remote control and pressed it. The interface on the big screen scrolled instantly. After a while, the B-level score appeared. Nara Shikamaru, Kankuro, Tamari, Inazuka Kiba, Hyuga Hinata, Rock Lee, Yamanaka Ino, Haruno Sakura. The personal data is also displayed behind each name. There is no need to question the source of the data. Every time the ninja village participates in the Chunin exam, the participating ninja village will send a Jonin to supervise. After B level, it is A level. There are fewer people in A level, including Hyuga Neji, Tenten, Akamichi Choji, Aburame Shino, Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, Yakushi Kabuto, and several ninjas from the Sound Village. At this point, most of the people in the big field have been mentioned by name. Just when everyone was curious about who else was there, the screen changed again and S jumped out. And there are only 2 people in the S area. Qingchuan Tianming, Gaara. The latter's name is well known. Gaara is young and famous and is the son of the Kage. But what puzzles others is who Qingchuan Tianming is. Soon the statistics of the 2 came out. The reason why Gaara ranks S is that in the Sand Ninja combination, Gaara unilaterally killed the entire team and they were the first to reach the central tower. As for Qingchuan Tianming, when the data was displayed, everyone's eyes widened. This guy did the opposite, he killed a lot. 10 people. There were 78 people in the second round of the Chunin exam, and Qingchuan Tianming killed 10 of them, accounting for 1/7. And the total number of deaths was 21, and Qingchuan Tianming accounted for half. This data is also unprecedented. Tianming, you separated from us to kill people. Uzumaki Naruto said in shock. Tianming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was he going to kill someone? Orochimaru was giving him too much face, letting the people from the Sound Village to give themselves up. I was forced to do this. Tianming laughed. Gaara on the side took a look at Qingchuan Tianming for the first time. Tianming also looked at each other, and the invisible sparks in their eyes were colliding. Examiner. I apply to withdraw from the third exam. At this time, Kabuto Yakushi in the corner raised his hand and said, I was seriously injured in the second round and can't go to the third round. Ahem, okay. Moonlight Gale took out a notebook and recorded it, saying, since someone withdrew, there will be one more place in the S area, and the place will be decided by the A-flat area. The 2 of them were in a state of panic, and the 2 were in a state of panic. When Moonlight Gale's words fell, all the genin present were stunned. Qingchuan Tianming and Gaara from the S area did not need to be pre-selected. If Kabuto Yakushi did not withdraw, they could just rank them in order of priority. But now that a spot is vacant, it's different. The genin from the A and B areas also looked at each other. To put it bluntly, this Chunin exam was similar to the civil war in Konoha. After Kabuto Yakushi withdrew, only 2 extras from the Sound Village were left. The door of the central tower opened, and inside was a flat and wide place, which looked very much like the ancient Roman Colosseum. The seats were much higher than the battlefield and spread out in a spiral. The way to fight is to designate your opponent. Ahem, let's start. Moonlight Gale said as he came to the sidelines. Let me have the first fight. The first to speak was Kankuro in a black robe. He walked to the center of the field with his puppet on his back and said, I won't designate my opponent. Let you challenge me. What a cocky guy. Inazuka Kiba said unhappily, Akamaru, do you think I'm right? Woof woof. Just when Inazuka Kiba wanted to feed Akamaru the Bingliang pill, Aburame Shino appeared in the field first. 1 step late. Inazuka Kiba was so upset. Team 8 witnessed Gaara's killing methods in the Forest of Death. Although they didn't dare to fight Gaara, they were still very curious about Kankuro and Tamari, who were also their companions. Tamari was a girl, and with her gentlemanly manners, Kankuro naturally became a hot commodity. Oh. Is it the guy who peeped at me back then? Kanjiro recognized Shino Aburame as he saw her coming forward. I hope you won't let me down. Kanjiro licked his lips, and the puppet crow on his back came alive, as his 10 fingers moved slightly. Puppetry. The senior ninjas on the sidelines were all amazed at the sight, as puppet masters are rare among ninjas. The black parasitic bug crawled out of his clothes and continuously transferred the chakra in his body to Shino Abarame's body. Mushi Master. Kanjiro reluctantly showed interest in his opponent. The first match, Shino Abarame vs. Kanjiro. The moment Moonlight Gale announced the name, Kanjiro's puppet crow had already shot out flexibly, with 2 rows of saw blades extending from its ribs, which were very sharp. Bug barrier. Shino Abarame controlled the parasitic bug to form a barrier. Defense can't stop the crows. Kanjiro hooked his little finger, and the puppet crow sprinted while spinning counterclockwise. The blade saw extending from the ribs formed a blade whirlwind during the rotation and directly cut through the insect barrier. A large number of parasitic insects were cut in an instant, like a black rain. Spear of insects. As the puppet crow broke through the insect barrier, Abarame Shino stepped back and changed her hand seals, and a black spear formed by parasitic insects pierced through. The attack method of the insect spear is composed of parasitic insects. Abarame Shino only needs to control the insects. Facing Abarame Shino's new ninjutsu, Kanjiro's flexible fingers changed slightly, and the thread driving the chakra also changed. The blade saw on the puppet crow's ribs bounced to the position of the hand. A puppet and a spear of insects fought fiercely. Why can't I understand their fight? Uzumaki Naruto, as a typical poor student, followed the fine tradition of asking questions when he didn't understand. Because the Abarame family is a bug control technique, all ninjutsu needs to be implemented through parasitic bugs, and Kankuro's puppets have the same purpose. The puppets are controlled by chakra threads, and it is unlikely that the 2 of them will fight in close combat. Nara Shikamaru on the side explained lightly, Naruto, don't you read books? Uzumaki Naruto scratched the back of his head, looking embarrassed. If he read, he would not be called Uzumaki Naruto if the knowledge entered his brain. At a distance from the Konoha camp, Tamari looked at Nara Shikamaru meaningfully, and then returned to normal. Gaara, do we need to let Kankuro admit defeat? After all, we have more important things to do. The fundamental purpose of their coming here is not for the Chunin exam, and Kankuro's doing this is undoubtedly a waste of time. No, he will inevitably meet an opponent that suits his taste. Gaara, who has always been taciturn, became more talkative. There is plenty of time, you can also challenge your interesting opponent. Gaara, don't get me wrong, I just think that guy has good analytical skills. Tamari explained quickly. It's okay, because I also have the desire to fight, Gaara said, looking at the Konoha camp. Below, the battle between Abarame Shino and Kankuro was coming to an end. Abarame Shino's wave after wave of parasitic insects were cut cleanly by the puppet crow. Just as the puppet crow tore open the insect wall with a knife, the knife stopped 10 centimeters away from Abarame Shino. Kankuro, who was originally confident of victory, suddenly changed his face and exclaimed, "What did you do?" "I just let the insects eat the connecting wire," Abarame Shino said lightly, and at this time some parasitic insects slowly crawled out of the limbs of the puppet crow. "I give up." Kankuro raised his hand. Without the puppet, his fighting power was greatly reduced, and it was unwise to force a fight. The puppet master relies heavily on the puppets, and Kankuro was very aggressive in the previous battle. He was too arrogant and underestimated the enemy, so that Shino Abarame took advantage of him. The first winner is Shino Abarame. Ahem. Moonlight Gale coughed violently. Well done, Shino. Inuzuka Kiba gave Shino Abarame a thumbs up and said, a good start for Konoha. That man is very strong. If the puppet he controls is faster, I might be the one who loses. Shino Abarame rolled up his sleeves lightly. His arms were full of black parasites. This was a backhand he left for himself. It's okay as long as I win. Inuzuka Kiba didn't quite understand why Shino Abarame was so humble. Are all of you Konoha ninjas so powerful? Uzumaki Karen whispered on the sidelines. Probably. Tianming didn't know how to answer. To be honest, there was no weak one among the 12 little strongmen of Konoha. They were all stronger than their peers. It was just that the current Chunin exam had changed more or less. The Sound Ninja Trio was killed by himself, and Abarame Shino's opponent in the Chunin exam became Kankuro. Everything was unpredictable, and Tianming didn't need to worry about how future events would develop. The second battle started soon. This time, it was Akamichi Choji who fought, and his opponent was one of the extras of the Sound Village. The battle was not complicated. Akamichi Choji resisted the ninjutsu of the sound wave hurts and directly used the Akamichi family's multiplication technique to defeat him with 3 or 2 punches. Konoha had 2 reds at the beginning, and morale immediately rose. And the extras of the sound ninja could only suffer a loss, because their duty was to cover up. Then the third battle began. Uzumaki Naruto versus a certain Oto Nin. In the fourth battle, Uchiha Sasuke versus a certain Oto Nin. After 4 consecutive victories without any suspense, the Oto Nin village was cleared out during the Chunin exam. Only Gaara and Temari from the Sand Village remained without a fight. Akamaru, are you ready? Inuzuka Kiba was ready to go. But he suffered from a slow reaction. Team 10's Tenten had already jumped down first. Look at the boys who have been fighting for so long, it's our turn, right? Tenten said, pointing the scallion finger in the direction of the Sand Village. Temari, who was challenged, jumped into the field without saying a word, and the 3-star fan behind her gently waved, and the buffering force lifted her body and made her land steadily. Tenten vs. Temari. Start. As Moonlight Gale finished speaking, Tenten took the lead. As the first person to use Konoha's ninja tools, as long as Tenten made a move, the ninja tools from all directions would attack the opponent in an endless stream. First, the obviously larger shuriken cleared the way. It burst out like a piercing through the air, followed by various shurikens. Temari on the opposite side looked at the overwhelming attack of ninja tools, reached out and grabbed the 3-star fan and fanned it forward. A hurricane suddenly blew up in the air and intercepted all of Tiantian's ninja tools directly. Show your true ability, I think you are like a circus juggler. Temari said lightly. As you wish. Tiantian did not intend to hide it, and directly took out 2 scrolls. When throwing out the scrolls, Tiantian quickly formed a seal, and the chakra also fluctuated. Double Rising Dragon. The 2 scrolls in the sky unfolded by themselves and turned into 2 dragons. The long 2 scrolls were like flying silver dragons, and densely packed ninja tools of all kinds appeared on the scrolls. The ninja tools emitted cold light and burst out at Temari below. Temari, who was locked by the double rising dragon, held the hand of the 3-star fan and sent it. The huge fan surface revealed a black center, which was the unique symbol of the 3-star fan. Kameidachi. Temari poured her chakra into the 3-star fan, and then she randomly grasped the fan and swung it vigorously. Suddenly, the field was empty, and a tornado rose into the sky, and even tiny cracks appeared on the wall beside the field. Tenten's double rising dragon attack was instantly dispersed, and the silk thread controlling the ninja tool was also cut off, and even Tenten herself was hit by the tornado and flew high. Tower. Tenten, who fell from the air, hung directly on the handle of the 3-star fan. Temari didn't even look at the unconscious Tenten, and threw her against the wall. If she was hit hard, the injury would be even more serious. Before everyone could react, Tianming had already rushed over and caught Tenten before she fell against the wall. Tenten. Rock Lee hurried down, and even Hyuga Neji's eyes were full of murderous intent. Tenten has already lost, why did you throw her against the wall? Rock Lee said angrily, gritting his teeth. Temari ignored it and returned to Gaara with a tiptoe. I'm talking to you. Rock Lee said and wanted to attack. Little Lee, forget it. Tianming hurriedly grabbed Rock Lee and said, anger is powerless, defend with strength in the future. Tiantian's defeat made the Konoha 12 strongmen, who had relaxed their vigilance a little, serious again. They couldn't underestimate the enemy just because of Konkuro. You know, Tiantian's ninja tools are said to have a 100% hit rate, and no one among the strongmen can take Tiantian's attack 100%. But Temari only used 2 slashes from the beginning to the end, pure strength crushing. After this battle, before Moonlight Gale could speak, Akamaru jumped into the field first. Then Inuzuka Kiba also jumped down and said, I'll do the next one. The battle was over, and the battle was over. As soon as Inuzuka Kiba left the court, he began to scan the surroundings. Finally, he thought hard and pointed to the position of the 10th team, Xiao Li, let's have a fight. Okay. Although Rock Lee used the lotus flower in the second round and his body was not used to it, he did not refuse to fight. It should be said that he is not that kind of person. Xiao Li, how are you injured? Might Guy asked. Teacher Kai, it's okay, I won't use the lotus flower. Rock Lee smiled with his big white teeth. The lotus flower is a forbidden technique, and there is no need to tell classmates. Very good, get excited. Yes, Teacher Kai. Rock Lee was full of fighting spirit again, and his chicken blood was full at once. Rock Lee jumped off the field and took a starting stance towards Inuzuka Kiba. Inuzuka Kiba's face changed slightly and he said, I'm sorry, Xiao Li. I can't choose Gaara from the rest, and I can't beat Neji. The others have finished the competition, so I can only choose you. Otherwise, I won't let Akamaru participate in the battle. This is the truth. Although Hyuga Neji is only a branch of the Hyuga family, his reputation as a genius is very loud in the ninja school. Although Inuzuka Kiba is warlike, he is not brainless. No, don't worry about me. Rock Lee said word by word, even if you don't know ninjutsu or illusion, you can still become an excellent ninja. This is what Mr. Akai taught me, and it is also my ninja way. Kiba, go all out is the greatest respect for me. Rock Lee is also a miserable person. It's not that he doesn't know ninjutsu, but it's too difficult for him to control chakra. For this reason, under the advice of Might Guy, he found his own way, that is, the ultimate physical skill. Okay. Inuzuka Kiba also responded seriously, and at the same time, Maru stuffed a Bingliong pill into his mouth. The latter roared and his body turned red. Ahem. Moonlight Gale flipped through the notebook and wrote and drew, Rock Lee versus Inuzuka Kiba. Start. Gale, are you okay? Hitaki Kakashi came to his side and asked with concern. Ahem, I'm fine. Moonlight Gale became a special Jonin because of his serious illness. Now that Orochimaru is ready to move against Konoha, the third generation specially sent all the Jonin and Chunin to ensure that there is no mistake, and it is my duty to do a good job of invigilating the third exam. In fact, it's sad to say that the Jonin is the absolute combat power in every village. The strength and number of the Jonin also further reflect the overall strength of the village. No problem. Hitaki Kakashi could only pat him on the shoulder as encouragement. On the other side, in the venue, the battle between Rock Lee and Inuzuka Kiba was also in full swing. The fight between the two can be called a contest of physical skills. Inuzuka Kiba uses the four-legged technique, and his body movements and attack methods are close to those of wild beasts. When combined with Akamaru, it is an attack like a tide. And Rock Lee is a pure physical skill. Abandon the obsession with chakra, abandon the use of ninja tools, and concentrate on physical skills. While others learn ninjutsu, he runs long distances with weights and kicks giant trees. While others control chakra, he jumps like a frog on the longest stone steps in Konoha in the hot weather. While others learn ninja tools, he wants to be Neji's sandbag and practice ninja tools every day. All this is for physical skills. Boom. Inuzuka Kiba left the ground with 4 feet and rushed towards Rock Lee with a forward movement, while the latter supported the ground with one hand and kicked out with a whip kick. A collision of pure power. The sonic boom was transmitted. Little Lee, good job. Go on. Release your youth. Might Guy even stepped on the railing. Excited tears. I'm afraid there is no other such passionate person in the whole ninja world. After Might Guy shouted like this, Kurenai Yuhi on the sidelines did not dare to fall behind, and mobilized Hinata Hyuga to cheer, and asked Shino Aburame to use parasitic bugs to spell out the words, come on. In the field, the two fought again and were evenly matched. Xiao Li, let's decide the winner in the next move. After separating again, Inuzuka Kiba said with blood boiling. That's exactly what I meant. Rock Lee said, jumping onto the stone on the sidelines where he was making hand seals, and reached out to untie his leggings. Then he pulled out 2 rows of iron bars from it. The iron bars were thrown easily, and a big hole was smashed on the ground. Akamaru is coming. Inuzuka Kiba also shouted, and all the chakra in his body was stimulated. The next moment, he and Akamaru flew out synchronously, and one person and one dog rotated and strangled from 2 directions. Yatong ya. The cockroaches watching from the sidelines were also heartbroken. After that, the winner is decided. Xiao Li standing on the stone disappeared in a shadow. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in the air and spun in the opposite direction of Yutongya, and kicked down at the same time. This scene surprised Might Guy. Ah! Xiao Li actually created a physical technique. Ah! Ah. The famous Jonin lost the ability to express himself for a short time. Tianming was also shocked. From the preliminaries to now, the strength of the 12 little strongmen of Konoha has far exceeded his cognition. The 12 little strongmen are so perverted. I wonder how strong the Akatsuki organization, Six Paths Pain, Obito and others will be in the future. It was also at this time that Tianming was excited. The sound of the explosion was so loud that the opponent was almost knocked over. Boom boom boom. The sound of the sonic boom sounded, and the strong wind swept out, almost blowing people upside down. The surface of the venue was scraped out with hideous gullies, and layers of smoke rose immediately. The next moment, Akamaru, who had withdrawn from the frenzy, flew out of the smoke and hit the ground heavily. The smoke gradually dissipated, and only Inuzuka Kiba was seen lying on the ground gasping for breath, and Rock Lee's legs had been smashed into the soil. The result was obvious, the winner was Rock Lee. Rock Lee pulled his legs out of the soil and stretched out his hand to Inuzuka Kiba, who also raised his hand to let Rock Lee pull him up. Kiba Inuzuka grabbed Rock Lee's hand and raised it above his head and said loudly, "Little Lee said it." After saying that, Kiba Inuzuka hurried to the sidelines and picked up Akamaru. "We won." Might Guy climbed over the railing and came to Rock Lee. "Little Lee, you did it." "Yes, Teacher Kai." Rock Lee also fell into Might Guy's arms due to exhaustion. "Teacher, I'm sorry." Kiba Inuzuka held Akamaru and put him on the medical ninja's stretcher, and looked up and saw Kurenai. "You just lost temporarily." Kurenai reached out and rubbed Kiba Inuzuka's hair and said, "Don't be lazy in the next training." "Yes, teacher." As Rock Lee and Kiba Inuzuka's battle was over, the preliminaries were also coming to an end. Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino stood in the field at the same time. Haruno Sakura vs. Yamanaka Ino. Moonlight Gale announced without delay. The second round of the Chunin exam was about to start with a fight between female ninjas and female ninjas. To be honest, neither Haruno Sakura nor Yamanaka Ino were combat ninjas. Although Haruno Sakura was a girl with extraordinary strength, she mainly studied medical skills with Tsunade, and physical skills were only a minor. And Yamanaka Ino. She was an assistant in learning illusion. Tianming, there's a girl over there who's been watching you. Tianming was watching the battle in the field seriously when Uzumaki Karen reminded him. Huh. Tianming turned around and saw Hinata Hyuga, who looked awkward not far behind him. I was so serious about the game that I forgot about Hinata. Hinata, what's wrong? Tianming came to Hinata Hyuga and said. Tianming, that girl, what's your relationship with her? Hinata Hyuga blushed and stammered. Karen. Tianming immediately told the whole story of his encounter with Karen. Is she so pitiful? It seems that I misunderstood. Hinata Hyuga's tone was full of confidence again. I have another thing. I will challenge my brother later. The unforgettable battle of the Chunin exam, the Hyuga brothers and sisters. In fact, Hinata Hyuga had just told Yuhi Kurenai, but was opposed. Yuhi Kurenai agreed that Hinata should choose Shikamaru and let Hyuga Neji go directly to the S area. One is that Hyuga Neji is ridiculously strong in this session, and the other is that Hyuga Neji belongs to the branch family of Hyuga Ning, and he has always been disgusted with Hinata who has a golden spoon in his mouth. Do you want to hear my opinion? Tianming said lightly. Yeah. Hinata Hyuga nodded. My opinion is, fight with Neji. Follow your heart. Tianming replied. I know. Hinata Hyuga was very happy to hear this answer, because Tianming could feel what she meant. At the same time, the battle between Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino also came to an end. Haruno Sakura even broke free from Yamanaka Ino's illusion control and knocked her unconscious. The end of this game means that there are only 3 people left, and one of them is a bye. After a short pause, Hyuga Neji from Team 10 slowly walked into the center of the venue. Just when Nara Shikamaru was about to appear. Hyuga Hinata also entered the venue. I challenge Hyuga Neji. As soon as this sentence came out, Nara Shikamaru almost fell from above. The others were also confused. These 2 men and 1 woman turned upside down the arrangement of Hyuga Hinata's bye. Are you kidding? Hyuga Neji said coldly. I won't fight with you. Teacher. Can the rules refuse challenges? Hyuga Hinata asked. Ahem, the rules do not refuse challenges, but you can give up. Hyuga Neji's face became ugly. Let him fight Hinata. He refused. But giving up. Impossible. He wants to change the fate of the branch family. One last time, get out of the way. Hyuga Neji was angry. If my brother doesn't give up, Hinata won't either. Hyuga Hinata smiled and posed. Hand style. Stain. Hyuga Neji didn't even use the 8 diagrams 64 palms. He approached Hinata and slapped her away with a soft palm. How can you fight when you are so weak? Hinata, why do you want to challenge Hyuga Neji? Yuhi Kurenai glared at Tianming on the sidelines. Everyone was puzzled. Hyuga Hinata could obviously be a Bian directly promoted to Chunin. But why did she do this? Because. Hyuga Hinata got up from the ground and smiled. Because Hinata doesn't want to get something for nothing, and wants to prove herself to her brother. Nara Shikamaru on the sidelines felt that his knee was hit by an arrow. Don't I, Shikamaru, have no face? Don't say those 2 words. I'm not your brother. Hyuga Neji pushed out a palm again and slapped her away. The 2 of them were so angry that they had to fight. Hinata Hyuga was knocked away again, and her body fell heavily to the ground. Not long after, she got up again. Why do you want to humiliate me? Hyuga Neji clenched his fists tightly. He didn't understand why this girl had to jump out. I don't mean to humiliate my brother. I just want my brother to recognize me. Hinata Hyuga wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and attacked directly. Hyuga Neji opened his eyes instantly and saw through Hinata Hyuga's attack. He easily moved his feet and avoided a lot of attacks. As the head of the family, you can just be high and mighty. Why? Why do you want to humiliate me? Hyuga Neji pushed out a palm to interrupt Hyuga Hinata's attack, and the next moment he elbowed her in the lower abdomen, followed by a kick. The difference in strength between the 2 is too big. Hinata, how can you be a brother? Why don't you be gentler? Uzumaki Naruto shouted indignantly. Hyuga Neji was so young, but he had practiced the Hyuga family's soft palm and Bagua 64 palms to such a level, and his talent far exceeded that of his peers in the head of the family. Just when everyone felt sorry for Hyuga Hinata, Tianming took a step forward and said something that surprised everyone around him. Hinata, is this your limit? Don't leave regrets for yourself. Not even close. Hyuga Hinata climbed up, with injuries of all sizes on her body. Qingchuan Tianming. Why did you encourage Hinata? Inazuka Kiba, who had a bad temper, rushed over and grabbed Tianming's clothes. Because Hinata needs such a fight. Tianming said lightly. This fight will be the beginning of Hinata and Neji's growth. Hinata, you just need to do it without regrets. No regrets. Hinata Hyuga's eyes glowed again. Although Tianming's words made people angry, Hinata knew that Tianming understood her and supported her. Being trusted by the person you like. That's enough. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Hinata Hyuga, who had regained her spirits, slapped out a palm, and the unique 8 trigrams 64 palms of the Hyuga family began to show their power, and Neji Hyuga also made the same starting gesture. Boom boom boom. The 2 wanted to fight each other, and when they fought to the 34th palm, Hinata Hyuga's chakra and movement connection began to stagnate. In the 42nd palm, Neji Hyuga had sealed many of her acupuncture points. Bang! The 48th palm. Neji Hyuga chopped down with a palm, avoiding the head and falling on Hinata Hyuga's chest. This time, Hyuga Hinata couldn't get up. Hinata. Moonlight Gale quickly called the medical ninja to send Hinata to the ninja hospital. At the same time, Hyuga Hiyashi, the head of the Hyuga family, swooped down from above and stood beside Hyuga Neji in the audience. Are you here to punish me? You're here so fast. Hyuga Neji said sarcastically. No. Hyuga Hiyashi shook his head and said, I just want to say that you are very good and you deserve to win over Hinata. I wonder if you can talk to me alone. Tisk, you're talking as if I can not come, hypocritical. Hyuga Neji walked towards the sidelines without looking back. When passing by Tianming, Hyuga Neji stopped and suddenly said, see. Even if you encourage Hinata to fight me, even if I win her, the ending cannot be changed. Sometimes fate has been decided. Hyuga Neji, maybe the Hyuga family is not as absolutely dark as you think, and Hinata just wants to prove herself. She can't beat you and can be promoted to Chunin by a bye, but she still stands up. The other people in the Hyuga family, including you, think that the main family and the branch family can't cross the rules, which is also the fate in your mouth, but Hinata is the same, she is also changing your fate. I don't know if Hyuga Neji can understand it. After Tianming finished speaking, he directly followed the pace of the medical ninja. So far, the second round of the preliminaries of the Chunin exam has officially ended, and the remaining S-area duels and the winners of the preliminaries will compete together 1 month later. When the results were announced, the 3 people from the Sand Village left without staying. As for the Jonin of Konoha, they were relieved a little bit, at least Orochimaru didn't do anything weird in the preliminaries. Everyone left the central tower and was led by the teachers of each class through the Forest of Death to return to Konoha. On the way back to Konoha, Uchiha Sasuke fell into a coma again due to the attack of the Curse Seal and was sent to Konoha Hospital. Konoha Hospital is probably the busiest during the Chunin exams throughout the year. Many ninjas need to be treated. Tianming watched Hinata Hyuga being pushed into the ward, and turned around to see Team 7 who had just come out of the next ward, and with them was Mitarashi Anko. Teacher, Qingchuan Tianming was also bitten by that guy. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly said. Tianming could only walk over to show everyone the wound. How is it possible? After making sure it was a curse seal, Mitarashi Anko was stunned. Only she knew enough about how terrifying it was to be hit by Orochimaru's curse seal. The curse seal not only absorbs chakra, but also continues to cause damage to the body. But Qingchuan Tianming looked very normal. The old man was very angry. Are you feeling uncomfortable? Mitarashi Anko looked Qingchuan Tianming up and down, but didn't see anything unusual. Teacher, my physique is quite special, so the power of the curse seal is not a big problem. Tianming explained. That's true. Mitarashi Anko glanced at Hitaki Kakashi, who also explained. I haven't encountered such a situation. After Orochimaru's curse seal hit, the mortality rate was extremely high. Even I was able to completely transform the power of the curse seal after becoming a Jonin. Mitarashi Anko felt scared when she thought of what happened that year. In that case, you don't have to be hospitalized, but if you feel uncomfortable, report it as soon as possible, understand? Mitarashi Anko warned. Yes. Tianming nodded. Kakashi, Sasuke will be fine in Konoha Hospital. Let's go, I have other things to deal with. You go first. After the two finished talking, Mitarashi Anko left the hospital first. Teacher Kakashi, why is Teacher Anko so busy? Uzumaki Naruto asked. Because Anko is that guy's disciple. Hitaki Kakashi smiled and said, don't guess blindly, let's go, you go back and take good care of your injuries, and prepare for the third round of exams after a month of rest. Don't worry about the rest. After giving instructions, Hitaki Kakashi asked Team 7 to disband on the spot. After coming out of Konoha Hospital, Tianming declined Uzumaki Naruto's invitation to eat noodles together, and took Uzumaki Karen back to Qingchuan's house. After arriving at the house, Uzumaki Karen stared at the room in a daze, because she had never lived in such a good place. Is it really okay for me to live here? Don't I need to ask your parents for permission? Uzumaki Karen was a little reserved. I am an orphan. My parents died in the war in Konoha 48. This is the place Konoha assigned me to live. There are many rooms and I am the only one there. Tianming explained. So you are also alone. Now that we live together, are we a family? Family. I guess so. Tianming didn't think too much about such questions. Now let's go out and buy you daily necessities. After resting for a while, Tianming took Uzumaki Karen to the busiest street in Konoha. As soon as Tianming appeared, the voices of merchants on both sides of the road hawking obviously stopped for a while, and a trace of disgust could be seen on their faces. For them, the most difficult business to do is war orphans. War orphans do not have much money, and you can't make money from them, and Konoha's top management has stipulated that they cannot refuse to sell goods to war orphans. So this kind of people usually won't chase away war orphans who want to buy things. Anyway, the price is written in black and white. If you can afford it, buy it. If you can't afford it, you can leave. Tianming, do they not welcome us? Uzumaki Karen quickly sensed the rejection of these shop owners. It's normal. War orphans don't have any money for them to take. Tianming said lightly. People have bad natures, but I'm afraid that 90 out of 100 Konoha villagers are bad. Konoha is a village in the Land of Fire, recognized as the first in the ninja world. While its ninja village is powerful, its civilians are also very arrogant. After all, the war that destroyed Konoha has been over for 12 years, and many people have long forgotten that despair. To be honest, Tianming doesn't like Konoha's civilians either, but it doesn't matter. These people are just cannon fodder and are not worth getting angry about. He brought Uzumaki Karen to a more luxurious clothing store, but was stopped by the boss before he walked in. Little brat, you can't come into this shop. Go away, don't dirty my clothes. The boss said impatiently. How can you drive away customers when you open the door for business? Tianming spoke calmly, but leaked some chakra. The chakra was not aggressive, but it still blew the clothes placed outside directly to the ground. In the past, the shop owner would have scolded him. But now he didn't dare. The chakra just now was undoubtedly a silent proof. And in the 5 major countries, ninjas are the most unprovoked existence. I don't know Taishan, please come in, ninja uncle. The shop owner said flatteringly as if he had changed his face. But Tianming didn't go in. No need, a little brat like me won't dirty your shop. After saying that, Tianming took Uzumaki Karen to the opposite shop. The boss opposite immediately smiled and said because of the previous experience, Ninja uncle, feel free to look, touch, and try. Take a look, what style do you like? Tianming said. I haven't bought any clothes. Uzumaki Karen lowered her head. She had never lived a peaceful life. The worst food she ate was just enough to fill her stomach, and the worst clothes she wore were just enough to cover her body. Tianming sighed softly and had to say, please pack all the latest clothes for spring, summer, autumn and winter according to this girl's body shape, and then send them to Qingchuan's house. As soon as this sentence came out, the owner of the shop next to him couldn't laugh anymore. How could this unknown boy be so generous? Tianming didn't wait for others to react, he took out some money and put it in the owner's palm, then left. When it comes to pretending, Tianming is always serious. Shouting loudly or fighting is not the best way. Invisible pretending is fatal. The first time, the second time. In the outskirts of Konoha, at the gathering place of Team 7, a feminine-looking man was leaning on a tree stump, greedily enjoying the warm sunshine. At this time, there was a noise in the woods, and a ninja wearing a black robe and a fox mask came out. Lord Orochimaru, the first phase of the matter has been arranged. After removing the mask, Kabuto Yakushi half knelt on the ground and saluted. Have you notified the Sand Ninja? Orochimaru's voice was very hoarse. Yes, the one-tailed Jinchuriki and several Sand Ninja Jonins will act according to the instructions. Very good. Orochimaru was very satisfied with this confidant. After all, he was a person with both strength and intelligence. By the way, how are Uchiha Sasuke and Qingchuan Tianming? Orochimaru suddenly asked. Uchiha Sasuke is still lying in Konoha's hospital because of the power of the curse seal, and Qingchuan Tianming seems to have resisted the power of the curse seal by himself. Kabuto Yakushi said the information he had collected lightly. Interesting. Qingchuan Tianming. It's worthy of being the container I value the most. Orochimaru has cast 800 curse seals, but he has never been satisfied with the people who survived and were able to use the power of the curse seal. But Qingchuan Tianming is different. He has extreme chakra and strong strength. It would be great if he could devour him when the time is right. Of the 2 people with curse seals, Uchiha Sasuke is a little worse. Does he need to be cleaned up? Kabuto Yakushi asked. No. Orochimaru smiled slightly and said, Sasuke's potential is also unpredictable to you, and I just want the Uchiha clan's Sharingan. Understood. Kabuto Yakushi nodded and put on the fox mask and was about to leave. Kabuto. Orochimaru suddenly said, you are also my precious companion. Don't act rashly. With your strength, you can't hurt Kakashi. Orochimaru saw through Kabuto's thoughts calmly. After leaving the forest, Kabuto put away the clothes of the Anbu and entered the Konoha hospital in his original appearance. When he walked to the front of the ward, he could see Uchiha Sasuke sleeping inside. Gently opening the door and walking in, Kabuto stretched out a finger and the chakra actually condensed into the shape of a scalpel in an instant. Too good is painful, why don't I help you get rid of it? Just when Kabuto was about to take action, a strong chakra breath appeared behind him. Is there anyone who visits patients with a knife? Hitaki Kakashi said coldly. Tisk, Kabuto stabbed the chakra scalpel with his backhand and escaped through the window at the same time. During the descent, Kakashi Hitaki changed his clothes into Anbu uniforms again. He came to the window and looked at the masked Kabuto Yakushi. It seems that I have to give Sasuke something good. Kakashi Hitaki turned his head and looked at Uchiha Sasuke on the bed and said to himself, after all, the Uchiha clan does not need to be protected by others. That night, the Qingchuan family residence. Tianming put on his clothes and walked out of the door. Ding! Mission activated. Go to the tallest building in Konoha to sign in. On a tall building somewhere in Konoha, a red-haired boy with a huge gourd on his back was watching the moon. Behind him, there were two people standing. They were Kabuto Yakushi, the representative of the Sound Ninja, and Hagi, the Jonin of the Sand Ninja. The time for action is set at the third round of the Chunin exam. What you have to do is to disrupt the inner field and at the same time pull the new forces of Konoha out of the village. Is there a problem? Kabuto Yakushi said lightly. It's not a big problem. Yigui thought for a while and looked at Gaara's back under the moon and said, the attraction of Shukaku should be able to do it. Although Gaara is difficult to control, his sister Tamari is very good at it. Very good. 1 month later, Konoha's destruction plan will be implemented. Ahem. At this moment, a slight cough sounded suddenly. The next moment, Moonlight Gale, whose identity was exposed, jumped out from the dark without saying a word. A bug that came to the door. Yigui waved his hand. The chakra around him fluctuated, and in an instant, the sand particles in all directions directly wrapped up Moonlight Gale completely. Ninjutsu. Sand funeral. The sand applied on the body was suddenly squeezed into an irregular shape and then exploded. Moonlight Gale's body with thousands of holes fell silently on the roof. In the dark not far away, Qingchuan Tianming watched all this indifferently. Stand for 10 seconds, sign in and complete the task. Task reward. Thunder. Chakra mastery. Witnessing the instant death of Moonlight Gale, Tianming did not show much expression, or even any feeling. He was not a person who clamored to be a savior. The life and death of ninjas was actually a very common thing. Although Tianming had no intention of avenging Moonlight Gale, he kindly took his body off the roof and handed it over directly to the patrolling ninja. After a while, almost all the prominent ninjas and several Anbu in Konoha appeared in the Hokage's office. Among these people, Qingchuan Tianming was probably the most eye-catching. Tianming, how did you find out? Hitaki Kakashi asked with a surprised expression. I just took a walk in the middle of the night. Tianming said lightly. The situation is getting worse. It seems that the situation is much more serious than expected. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and said in a bad tone. The senior ninjas present were very solemn. How could this be serious? It has been serious for a long time, okay. After 48 years of Konoha, there has been no major war in the ninja world, and there has been no particularly large friction between countries and villages. In this context, Orochimaru is still one of the S-level rebels determined by the 5 major countries, which is evident. As early as the second round of the Chunin exam. Mitarashi Anko had already reported it, but the third-generation Sarutobi Hiruzen did not make a big move in order to maintain stability. Third generation, the situation may be much more serious than we thought. Hitaki Kakashi said. The injury of Gecko Gale looks like a magnetic ninjutsu, will it be? The Wind Country is an ally. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Otherwise, the people from the Sand Village will be suspected based on the magnetic ninjutsu. There are many people who can use this kind of chakra. Maybe it is Orochimaru's subordinates who are trying to deceive people. Hitaki Kakashi was speechless. Tianming listened to their conversation below without saying a word. The third-generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is a very special person. You say he can't do it. He is the first of the 5 major countries in the Land of Fire. Konoha village is also the first ninja village. From ninjas to civilians, everyone respects him. You say he can do it. Sarutobi Hiruzen is also a person who is centralized and conceited. He has more ambitions as a politician than the position of Hokage. Most of the Konoha high-level officials are his people, infiltrating Konoha from top to bottom and eliminating dissidents at the same time. Such a complicated two-faced person lacks the most important strength. Sarutobi Hiruzen has all attribute chakra and knows a lot of ninjutsu, but his strength is not as strong as the first and second generations who dominated an era. Even the fourth generation after him had better records than him. In addition, he still didn't know himself, including the fact that Orochimaru's invasion of Konoha was no longer a secret. Sarutobi Hiruzen still maintained stability and face, even when he died on Orochimaru, he still looked like a mentor. Aokawa Tenmei, did you find anything else when you found the body? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. No. Tenmei shook his head. Tell the sand ninja. It doesn't exist. First of all, Tenmei will not interfere in such a major historical event. Secondly, with Sarutobi Hiruzen's character, even if he told, he would die at the hands of Orochimaru, and the result did not change at all. Sander, Aokawa Tenmei should be lucky. If he met Orochimaru's people, he would not come back. Hitaki Kakashi said. Well, that makes sense. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tianming again, his eyes full of kindness. You discovered the Moonlight Gale and reported it. The next thing is the matter of the Jonin. You go back and have a good rest and prepare for the third round of exams. After getting the promise, Tianming turned and left the Hokage's office. Sarutobi Hiruzen was right. He only needed to worry about the third round. After leaving the Hokage's office, Tianming did not go directly back to Qingquan's house, but went directly to the training ground of Team 7. Standing by the stream, in a place where you can't see your hand in front of you. Suddenly, a bright yellow breath swirled up, and a little electric current gathered in Tianming's palm. This is the sign in reward just now, the mastery of thunder release. When Tianming used the ultimate chakra to learn Hitaki Kakashi's Reikiri before, he changed the state of chakra to imitate it. And now is the real thunder release ninjutsu. With a thought, the chakra returned to the body, and Tianming sat cross-legged by the stream with his eyes closed. The ninja families in Konoha all have their own exclusive ninjutsu or ninjutsu. Although the Qingquan family is an inconspicuous family, they also have a ninjutsu. It is the Thunder Mountain Thunder Seal that Tianming used to support the corner of the table. This ninjutsu is the famous ninjutsu of his father Qingquan Daihui. A mountain thunder seal is a huge attack condensed by the thunder chakra, which is like a mountain pressure. It is domineering and invincible. It is a pity that Qingquan Daihui is an ordinary ninja without blood limit and pupil technique. The Thunder Mountain Thunder Seal is not good in his hands. Fortunately, it is now in Tianming's hands. Thunder. Mountain Thunder Seal. Tianming said lightly. The thick thunder chakra burst out from the body and instantly filled the surrounding area of 100 meters. There are thunder and lightning within 100 meters, and the intricate thunder and lightning interweaving thunder network is gorgeous and dazzling. However, these thunder and lightning did not destroy a tree or a grass. This is the terrifying control of Tianming's ultimate chakra. Condense. Tianming formed seals with both hands, and the lightning net within 100 meters suddenly contracted and squeezed. Make a towering mountain of thunder. It's done. Tianming was delighted, and then waved his hand, and the mountain of thunder scattered. Learn a technique at a time. And melt through. Konoha can't find another person. At this time, dawn came and the sky began to brighten. When Tianming just returned to the war orphan residential area, he saw black smoke coming out of the Qingquan mansion. Someone attacked Karen. Tianming turned into a residual image and quickly returned to the Qingquan mansion. It turned out that Karen was not kidnapped, but she blew up the kitchen. Karen, what are you doing? I want to cook. And it turned out like this. Seeing Qingquan Tianming coming back, Uzumaki Karen pursed her lips and said aggrievedly. The old man was very happy. It is understandable that Uzumaki Karen can't cook. Let's clean up first. Tianming smiled and cast a small water escape ninjutsu to clean the smoky kitchen, and then cleaned it up again to restore it to its original state. I'm sorry, I'm so useless. Uzumaki Karen blamed herself. She found that she had become useless since she met Qingquan Tianming. Don't say that, take your time, you can learn if you don't know. Tianming comforted and wanted to reach out and rub Uzumaki Karen's hair, but he didn't reach out his hand because he was worried that this unintentional act would be impolite. Uzumaki Karen paused as she looked at Tianming's hand, then took a step forward, grabbed Tianming's hand and put it on her head. Do you want to touch my hair? Tianming was embarrassed. It's okay, I'm willing to do whatever you like. Uzumaki Karen said very seriously. Ahahaha, that's good. Tianming retracted his hand like lightning and laughed. Let's cook and eat. At the same time, Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura were walking on the way to Konoha Hospital. Along the way, Haruno Sakura moved very slowly, and would stop in front of the window when walking on the street. Sakura, aren't we going to see Sasuke? Why don't you walk faster? Uzumaki Naruto was obviously a little anxious. He was also accompanying Haruno Sakura, otherwise it would take him less than 3 minutes to walk this distance. I want to be in the best condition to see Sasuke, you don't understand. Haruno Sakura straightened the pink hairband on her head in front of the mirror and smiled with satisfaction. I am worthy of being the most beautiful female ninja in Konoha, let's go. The two slowly came to Konoha Hospital, but when they walked into the ward, they found that Uchiha Sasuke's bed was empty. Miss Nurse, where is the patient in this room? Uzumaki Naruto called the nurse who was changing the dressing. Uchiha Sasuke. He was taken out of the hospital last night, and there is a discharge certificate posted on the room board. The nurse said without turning her head. Discharged. Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura looked at the list on the door panel at the same time. Where is the signature written Hitaki Kakashi? Teacher Kakashi took Sasuke away. This doesn't make sense. Uzumaki Naruto was stunned. He came to the hospital to visit Sasuke yesterday, and teacher Kakashi was still accompanying him at that time. But after a day, the two disappeared. As disciples, Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura were totally unaware. Where did they go? Will Qingqiu and Tianming know? Haruno Sakura was unhappy. She had specially changed her headband to see Sasuke today. She probably wouldn't know. Tianming was summoned to the Konoha office yesterday. He was not with Kakashi-sensei. Uzumaki Naruto analyzed, it should be that Kakashi-sensei and Sasuke acted alone. Forget it, I'm leaving then. Haruno Sakura's face fell and she turned away from the hospital regardless of Naruto's attempts to keep her. Sakura, wait for me. Uzumaki Naruto chased out of the hospital but lost the trace of Haruno Sakura. Uzumaki Naruto sighed and decided to go home, but he didn't expect that he bumped into someone just when he turned around. The man's stable lower body directly knocked him out. Ah, it hurts so much. Uzumaki Naruto held his head and looked up, and saw a thin man wearing circle sunglasses standing in front of him. Uncle, who are you? I'm Ebisu. I'm here to teach you a few moves on behalf of Kakashi. Are you Uzumaki Naruto? Ebisu said with a condescending look. Ebisu. Uzumaki Naruto was full of questions. He had never heard of this in the ninja school. But after thinking about it, there was no need for him to tease him with the name of Hitaki Kakashi. It just so happened that he couldn't find Kakashi, so it wouldn't be bad to have a teacher to train him. Okay, then follow me. Ebisu turned and left. Uzumaki Naruto had to follow him. The two of them came to the north of Konoha village. Unlike the dense forests in the south, the water source flowing out of the low mountain nest gathered here to form large and small pools. Teacher Ebisu, are you bringing me here to take a bath? Uzumaki Naruto looked at these clear pools and couldn't think of any related training methods. Washing your feet is impossible. What I want to teach you is a new realm of chakra control, walking on the water. Ebisu stepped on his toes and stood on the water, looking very cool. Uzumaki Naruto. Although he didn't understand what kind of practice walking on the water was, Uzumaki Naruto didn't say much and directly used chakra to gather his feet. Then he flew to the bottom of the water. But he forgot. In the Forest of Death, Orochimaru used the 5 elements seal, and the 9 tails chakra could not be used, and Uzumaki Naruto's own chakra could not maintain walking on the water. Plop. A simple fall into the water ended Uzumaki Naruto's operation. Boy, study hard. Ebisu said very proudly. Uzumaki Naruto swam back to the shore from the water and was ready to jump into the water again. A transparent fishing line that was invisible to the naked eye came from behind and tied up Uzumaki's waist and pulled him back. Who? Ebisu turned his head to look. I only saw a man with his back to the two of them by the pool not far behind him, with his long white hair falling naturally. The man turned his head, and the oil words on his forehead were particularly bright. Oh, I am Jiraiya. The old man was very happy. I'm Ebisu, the tutor of Konohamaru. I know almost all the Jonin in Konoha, but how come I haven't heard of you? Ebisu pushed his sunglasses and said conceitedly. Oh. Is Konohamaru's tutor very powerful? Jiraiya was not angry, but joked. You don't seem to know anything, but Konohamaru is the successor of the future Hokage. Ebisu said shamelessly, his sense of superiority always comes from Konohamaru. Is the Konoha Hokage going to change? Jiraiya touched his chin and said to himself. Stain. Jiraiya's reaction directly irritated Ebisu. As an excellent tutor, you don't need to talk about your qualifications and students, but in view of your ignorance, I will tell you. Konohamaru is the grandson of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. When he finished speaking, Ebisu was about to float up, and he couldn't wait to hear Jiraiya brag about himself. Since you are so good, you should be able to break the 5 elements seal on this kid. Jiraiya shook his wrist. He raised the fishing rod and Uzumaki Naruto was pulled in front of him. Hey, I said you want to fight, can you let me go first? Uzumaki Naruto said unhappily, but no matter how he struggled, the fishing line was unbreakable. I said, are you ungrateful? Ebisu came to his senses. This man who suddenly disrupted the situation didn't apologize or snatch the student in front of him. What 5 elements sealing technique? I've never heard of it. Don't force me to do it. Ebisu said as he walked over quickly. He swore that if this guy dared to act rashly, he would suffer. Boom. At this time, a roar came from the pool behind Jiraiya. One side of the pool water was directly washed away, and a huge monster broke out of the water. The breath that immediately burst out wrapped the water and washed out, and Ebisu was directly washed away. Ah! What a big toad! Uzumaki Naruto was stunned. Where had he seen such a scene? A senior ninja was blown away by an appearance. Impolite brat. Gamabunta snorted with a pipe in his mouth. Jiraiya, are you sure you didn't find the wrong person? This kid looks like a weak chicken. Don't be wrong. Jiraiya put down the fishing rod, and the fishing line that bound Uzumaki Naruto was immediately loosened. Kid, I'll teach you a few moves. Do you want to learn? Is this okay? Uzumaki Naruto was not afraid. This big toad has a close relationship with Jiraiya. How strong is this person? Before learning, you have to unlock the seal first. Jiraiya stretched out his hand and pressed it against Uzumaki Naruto's abdomen. As a stream of chakra broke in, the 5 elements seal on Uzumaki Naruto's body was easily unlocked. Uzumaki Naruto only felt that the chakra in his body was much smoother, and then he slid down in a standard way. Teacher, disciple Uzumaki Naruto. Stop. Jiraiya waved his hand and said, I didn't say I would accept you. Can you get my approval? Go play in the water with Bunta. After that, Jiraiya got up and went to the small wooden house next to him and ate peanuts at the door. Uzumaki Naruto looked at the toad Bunta and gritted his teeth. Come on. How to play. At the same time, on a rift somewhere outside Konoha, Hitaki Kakashi stood on a lonely peak. At this time, there was a rustling sound at his feet. Uchiha Sasuke, who was in a mess, was trying to climb the lonely peak under the scorching sun. How many times? Hitaki Kakashi's eyes never left the intimate paradise. The 22nd time. Uchiha Sasuke was still very frugal with words. Crack. Hitaki Kakashi suddenly stomped his foot. The stone that Uchiha Sasuke was holding onto was instantly shattered, and the latter fell down again. Come again. Since leaving Konoha Hospital last night, Hitaki Kakashi brought Uchiha Sasuke here. The only thing to do here is to climb the mountain. Every time Uchiha Sasuke reached the top of the mountain, he would be kicked down by Hitaki Kakashi. Hitaki Kakashi did not explain the reason, and Uchiha Sasuke did not ask. The two spent the night like this. After a while, Uchiha Sasuke climbed to that position again, 23. After reporting a number, Uchiha Sasuke let go and was about to land, but was grabbed by Hitaki Kakashi. Do you know why I let you climb the mountain and then kicked you down? Hitaki Kakashi asked. Huff, huff, I don't know. Uchiha Sasuke breathed in the air. Because I like it. Hitaki Kakashi's answer is always like this. Deserve a beating. Even Uchiha Sasuke felt uncomfortable. Right. That's the feeling. Hitaki Kakashi suddenly clapped his hands and said, hatred is the driving force of strength growth. You are too restrained because of the blood feud of the Uchiha clan. How can you become stronger if you don't release it? Teacher Kakashi, what do you want to say? Uchiha Sasuke didn't want to talk about this topic. Hitaki Kakashi punched Uchiha Sasuke in the abdomen without saying a word, and the latter fell to the ground with a wow. Sasuke, this is the disadvantage of burying your hatred deeply. If you want to become stronger, you have to release your hatred. The two of them were so angry that they had to face each other. Release your hatred. Uchiha Sasuke got up from the ground and thought carefully about Kakashi's words. He has always been carrying the hopes of all the Uchiha clan members. In order to catch up with that person and kill him with his own hands. Uchiha Sasuke lives in a way that almost suppresses hatred. Only in this way can he be forced to become stronger. Yes. Hitaki Kakashi said. Only with enough hatred can you stimulate your potential and become stronger. Uchiha Sasuke's eyes were a little confused. It was the first time he encountered a teaching model like Hitaki Kakashi. Not only did he not lead him to the traditional way of practice, but he made him understand hatred. Teacher Kakashi, I have a question. Uchiha Sasuke said slowly. What's the question? Where did you get your other eye? I remember that the Sharingan is the pupil technique of my Uchiha clan. Hitaki Kakashi was startled, and then pulled down the mask a little, revealing the left eye that had been covered. Compared with the lazy right eye, the left eye was much sharper, and there was a long scratch. Your guess is right, it is indeed from your Uchiha clan. Hitaki Kakashi spoke, with a solemn tone, it is an old friend. He left me a gift at the end. I have survived with this eye until now. Being able to have the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan and being able to wear the Sharingan all the time, it seems that Teacher Kakashi has a deep bond with that person, right? Uchiha Sasuke suddenly realized, he understood. Kakashi kept asking himself to climb the mountain and kicking himself down, isn't that also explaining this problem? Hitaki Kakashi has been wearing the Sharingan. Apart from the loss every time he uses it, he can clearly sense the vitality of the Sharingan and even feel the bond. All this is driven by hatred. I understand. Uchiha Sasuke bowed to Hitaki Kakashi and said, please teach me the real Sharingan technique, Teacher Kakashi. No. Hitaki Kakashi shook his head and said, the Sharingan technique is one of the few means that can only be understood but not explained. You need to develop your own limits. Today I will teach you a move of my own ninjutsu, originally named Chidori. When Naruto and Sasuke began to practice differently, Tianming, who was lying asleep in the Qingchuan family, opened his eyes. Ding! Activate a new sign in task. Please sign in at the top of the mountain outside Konoha within the time limit to get a task reward. Here it comes. A few days after mastering the thunder release, a new task is here. Tianming got up with a somersault, said something to Uzumaki Karen casually, and rushed out in the rain. He walked out of Konoha village in the rain and climbed up to the top of the mountain along the forest. Unfortunately, the weather was not good, and the rain was getting heavier and heavier. With a few lightning bolts, it was even more violent. Tianming stood on the top of the mountain and looked at the lightning silver dragon flying freely in the dark clouds above his head. He felt heavy in his heart. Host has arrived at the check-in location, check-in is in progress. Check-in takes 10 seconds, and the mid-movement mission failed. At the moment when the system electronic sound sounded, lightning began to interweave and converge between the dark clouds in the sky, and the lightning illuminated Tianming's face. Sizzle. Lightning burst out from the clouds, aiming at the place where Tianming was standing. What kind of crappy mission made me get struck by lightning? Tianming's face turned green. Although he cursed, Tianming's figure was as steady as an old dog without a move. Because he was gambling. Every sign in mission is very simple. The most critical time for the last sign in mission was in the land of waves, where Tianming got the Tremor-Tremor Fruit. As the saying goes, wealth and honor are sought in danger. Isn't it thunder? I want to see what it is. Lightning came to Tianming in an instant, and a long hard object took shape from the thunder and lightning. Sign in successful, sign in reward thunder sun blade. Thunder breathing method. 10 seconds later, the hard object transformed by lightning in front of Tianming faded, and it turned out to be a pitch-black sword. The sword feels warm and slightly oppressive, but it is surprisingly suitable for Tianming. It's this. The sun blade comes from the Demon Slayer plane. It is a sharp weapon for beheading demons when paired with a unique breathing method. And the one in Tianming's hand is a thunder-attributed sun blade. Swish. Tianming grasped the hilt and pulled out the blade. As soon as the sun wheel sword was unsheathed, lightning flashed around it. The blade was engraved with bright yellow lightning patterns. So cool and handsome. Thunder and lightning, a knife cuts through the air. Tianming grabbed the sun wheel sword and gestured a few times, only to find that it was getting more and more handy. Who would have thought that the sign in reward was actually a set? The previous one was the mastery of thunder escape. This one is the sun wheel sword of thunder. By the way, let's understand the breathing method. Tianming sheathed the sun wheel sword and sat cross-legged in meditation. As the name suggests, the breathing method is to feel the surrounding power through breathing. Tianming, who understood the principle, immediately released a certain amount of thunder attribute chakra, and then took a deep breath. The thunder attribute chakra passed through Tianming's nostrils into his limbs and bones. Suddenly, there was a thundering sound in his body. Huh. Tianming drew his sword and chopped it out like lightning. I saw a straight blade light cut the hill in front of him in two. The first time, the second time. Awesome. Tianming opened his mouth wide as he looked at the hill that he had split with his sword. Tianming couldn't imagine that the thunder release ninjutsu combined with the thunder sun blade would have such a shocking effect. I'm afraid that some Jonins wouldn't be able to take this sword. Tianming immediately concluded that this would be his killer move. After all, he only had a strong chakra foundation and some physical skills, and the Tremor-Tremor fruit consumed too much. If you use it once, you will lose chakra, and if you use it twice, you will lose it. The fruit ability is the trump card. Never use it until it's a critical moment, and during this period of time. Uzumaki Naruto learns about summoning beasts, while Uchiha Sasuke learns about Chidori and slowly activates the power of the curse seal and the Sharingan. If he can't keep up, it will be difficult. Thank God. Tianming grabbed the sun wheel sword and began to practice one move at a time on the flat ground on the top of the mountain. He has no teacher, and of course he doesn't need one. With the sign in rewards given by the system and his own hard work, it is only a matter of time before he stands at the top of the ninja world. If other people travel through time, they will either screw the protagonist group to death and grab various resources, or they will become the protagonist group's younger brother and follow the prince to conquer the world. But Tianming is different, he wants to dominate his own destiny. What he wants is to compete fairly with Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke and become the first. The rain is still falling, but Tianming is still practicing one sword at a time. After an unknown period of time, the rain weakened, the dark clouds in the sky gradually dispersed, and the sun shone on the ground again. Tower. Tianming sheathed the sun wheel sword, looked at the sky, and turned to leave and return to the village. Tianming can decide the time of training by himself, but the other two are not so lucky. Uzumaki Naruto made a bet with Gamabunta that as long as he stayed on his head for 24 hours, Gamabunta would recognize him. As a result, by the 20th hour, Uzumaki Naruto had been offline and unconscious on Gamabunta's head. And Uchiha Sasuke in the Great Rift Valley was in such a miserable state. Hitaki Kakashi asked Uchiha Sasuke to release and restrain his hatred, so he gathered huge voltage again and again and jumped off the cliff again and again. Only by risking everything and unhesitatingly blasting the strongest blow. That is the secret of the thunder release Chidori. A month passed in a flash, and time soon came to the day of the third round of exams. This third round was still held in the area of the repaired Central High Tower. The only difference is that the deserted area a month ago is already bustling with people. The third round of the exam was watched by the third Hokage and several Konoha high-ranking officials accompanied by the allied Kazekage and his Sandokage high-ranking officials. In addition, the audience seats were filled with ninjas and civilian families. Such a hand is evident. The genin who passed the second round were stunned by the huge crowds of people as soon as they appeared. Tianming's expression was calm as water. He was worthy of being the third generation who was the first in maintaining stability. He had to create a scene of singing and dancing even when the knife was at his neck. There are so many people. It was the first time that Uzumaki Naruto was so noticed that he couldn't help but get a little excited. Uchiha Sasuke has always been synonymous with style. After a month of hard training, he changed into a black short shirt and his whole person had a strong aura. The third round of the Chunin exam selects 10 people to become Chunin. Next, it's time to test your 1-month training results. Are you ready? Due to the tragic death of Gecko Gale, the examiner of the third round was replaced by Hitaki Kakashi. Ready. Everyone said in unison. Hitaki Kakashi took out some bamboo sticks from his pocket and pointed them at everyone, saying, "The bamboo sticks above have your names and numbers written on them. The same color of the bamboo sticks determines the opponent, and the numbers determine the order of appearance." After saying that, Hitaki Kakashi threw the bamboo sticks into the air, and everyone above jumped up and got the bamboo sticks. Wow! Red. Uzumaki Naruto waved the bamboo sticks in his hand and said, "Who among you is red?" Uchiha Sasuke raised his hand silently. It's really a civil war in Team 7. Tianming naturally didn't expect this result. The first serious fight between Sasuke and Naruto was in the Valley of the End on the eve of Sasuke's defection to Konoha. Unexpectedly, it's ahead of time now. Green. Nara Shikamaru said lightly. As soon as he finished speaking, Tamari beside him was also green. Nara Shikamaru stroked his forehead and said, "Teacher Kakashi, can you change your opponent? I don't have the habit of attacking women. Are you afraid of losing to a woman?" Tamari said suddenly, "Don't underestimate me, I can let you." God. Quote. "You can give up." Hitaki Kakashi said. Nara Shikamaru could only accept his fate. Although he was more Buddhist and afraid of trouble, it was impossible for him to admit defeat directly. White. Hyuga Neji said calmly. Lock Lee slowly raised his hand. Hey! The Civil War of Team 3. Little Lee. Hyuga Neji turned his head and looked at Rock Lee and said, "Let's have a good fight." After the second round, Hyuga Neji finally knew the past under the narration of Hyuga Hiyashi, and let go of his obsession and let himself go. Now Hyuga Neji is a brand new self. Just what I want. Rock Lee showed his big white teeth, and he was also looking forward to this fight. The two of them were very close. I'm pink. Haruno Sakura also showed her bamboo stick. This time it was Aburame Shino's turn to fight against the girls. Kakashi teacher, what about me? Akamichi Choji asked silently. Although he was strong, his speed was not as fast as others, so he didn't grab the bamboo stick. Choji, you don't need to compete. I declare you are now a Chunin. Hitaki Kakashi said lightly. What? Akamichi Choji opened his mouth and the potato chips were exposed. Let alone him, the others were also shocked. The third round hasn't started yet and you told me. He is a Chunin. In the second round, I didn't expect so many people to pass, and some people withdrew on the eve of the preliminary round, so some people were given a bye. In the third round, there were indeed fewer bamboo sticks. Because the rule is that whoever can't grab a bamboo stick will be given a bye as a Chunin. Hitaki Kakashi explained in a serious manner. Akamichi Choji was completely dumbfounded. He didn't do anything, but he was the biggest winner. Asuma Sensei, congratulations on teaching a Chunin. Might Guy in the audience of Guan Zero gave a thumbs up. Should I say thank you? Sarutobi Asuma said bluntly, but it is indeed better than your third team's internal war. It's okay, didn't the seventh team also have a civil war? Might Guy has always been optimistic. So there are still black sticks that have not been announced in the end. Hitaki Kakashi said. Others looked over involuntarily, and the answer was clear. It was the two most watched names. Qingchuan Tianming vs. Gaara. For this opponent, Tianming can only say that he is satisfied. The others were all from Konoha, so he could neither let them win nor lose, and the fight would be unpleasant. But Gaara was different. At this time, Gaara was still in the enemy camp of Konoha. And the one-tailed Jinchuriki could take a beating. If anyone knew what Tianming was thinking, they would definitely say he was crazy. After all, Gaara had a record of killing Jonin, and he was famous. Gaara could take a beating. What a great idea. The two people with number 1 stay, and the rest of you step back. Hitaki Kakashi took the lead and walked away. Suddenly, only Shino Aburame and Sakura Haruno were left in the field. Shino. Don't attack girls like Shikamaru. Sakura Haruno chuckled. No. Shino Aburame responded lightly. Their Aburame clan has always only taken a fancy to bugs. The third round of the Chunin exam begins. With the order from Hitaki Kakashi. Sakura Haruno has already rushed forward, the social Sakura brother, just do it recklessly. The crowd who retreated to the sidelines were watching the fight between the two people in the field with great interest. Tianming was a little distracted. He might look at the three people standing in the distance, or look up at the highest point. Some high-level people who were closely protected by Anbu ninjas. Orochimaru's plan should have begun. At the same time, a large number of sound ninjas and sand ninjas appeared in the Death Forest and the dense forest outside Konoha village. A black crow flew onto the arm of a sound ninja. He took off the note on the black crow's feet and took a casual look at it. The leading sound ninja gestured in another direction. Action begins. At the command, several sound ninjas walked out of the team, bit their thumbs in unison, and then carved summoning techniques on the ground. In the blink of an eye, dozens of summoning snakes whistled out. In another direction, there was a sand ninja standing on the top of a tree. He suddenly made seals with both hands, and when the chakra gushed out, countless tiny grains of sand slowly fell. Ninjutsu. Sand falls. Boom. The yellowish sand fell to the ground like a falling river and then crushed the Death Forest. At the same time, this scene was played out in several places in Konoha. Looking back to the central tower, the battle between Haruno Sakura and Aburame Shino has already been decided. When Haruno Sakura punched Aburame Shino away and planned to attack in the second stage, her calf was already wrapped by dense parasitic insects. As long as Aburame Shino gave the order, in an instant, Haruno Sakura's calf would be completely eaten clean. I lost. Haruno Sakura raised her hand. As a result, Aburame Shino became the second person to pass the Chunin exam. And the second game was the popular Civil War. Rock Lee and Neji Hyuga came to the center of the venue. Come on, Lee. Come on, brother. Hinata Hyuga shouted in the audience. Although Hyuga Neji did not respond, a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Said, Little Lee, fight to your heart's content. Leave no regrets. Fight to your heart's content. Rock Lee instantly ignited his fighting spirit, and then he slid and approached Hyuga Neji in an instant, and then kicked out with a whip kick. 8 trigrams 11 palms. Hyuga Neji gave up the soft palm and used his signature skill right away. Boom boom boom. The first confrontation between the two, there were sonic booms in succession. Just when the two were fighting fiercely, Tianming appeared in the audience and sat down next to Hyuga Hinata. Tianming, you're here. Hyuga Hinata said with some surprise. Yeah. Tianming touched his pants, took out a delicate purse from his bag and said, This is the purse I bought for you. There are many herbs in it that have the effect of calming the mind. I give it to you. Congratulations on your discharge from the hospital. The purse was red, and the purse was red. Is this for me? Hinata Hyuga's face flushed instantly, and she didn't know where to put her hands. Don't you like it? Then I'll take it back. Tianming pretended to take back the purse. I like it. This is the gift you gave me. It's also the first gift I received. Hinata Hyuga quickly grabbed Tianming's hand and said. Ahem. What are you doing? Inuzuka Kiba came over to destroy the atmosphere. Ah. Hinata Hyuga found that the hand she was holding Tianming shrank back like lightning. If you like it, keep it. Tianming put the purse in Hinata Hyuga's palm and got up and left. Tianming-kun. Please cheer for Tianming later. Hinata Hyuga clenched her pink fist to cheer for Tianming. Then I'll win for you to see. In the field, the battle between Rock Lee and Hyuga Neji has reached a fever pitch. The two fought back and forth, and it was hard to tell who would win. Rock Lee never put on the restraints he had untied after fighting against Kiba Inuzuka a month ago. According to Might Guy, Rock Lee is used to carrying weights. So it's meaningless to carry weights blindly. He should enter the realm of controlling lightness. Light. Rock Lee uttered a word lightly and then turned into an afterimage, launching an attack again. Hyuga Neji's white eyes didn't have much effect. Because Rock Lee didn't talk about tactics and came from the front. This move. Hyuga Neji's eyes flashed, and he instantly caught the subtle difference. He actually saw Rock Lee calling up the chakra in his body. It's not that Rock Lee doesn't know ninjutsu, but he was too slow in learning ninjutsu and took the path of physical skills. Has the guy who only knows how to train with weights awakened? Hyuga Neji's blood was instantly ignited. Ah. Boys, come on. The time to burn your youth has come. In the audience, Might Guy shouted especially loudly. But suddenly Might Guy stopped, and his expression changed from ecstasy to shock. It seems that Xiao Li is not using the physical skills he taught. He still remembers what Rock Lee said to him after the second round a month ago. Teacher Kai, I want to practice alone this month. Ah, Xiao Li. Is this how you show your youth? Good job. Under Might Guy's passionate shouting, Rock Lee finally approached Hyuga Neji. Ningji, this is specially prepared for you. As soon as the voice fell, Rock Lee rushed in front of Hyuga Neji and kicked him in the sky at Hyuga Neji's jaw. Xiao Li, don't underestimate me. At the same time as Rock Lee made a move, Hyuga Neji toed his toes and crossed his hands to protect his jaw. Boom. Rock Lee kicked Hyuga Neji's arm, and the two flew into the sky. A series of attacks and defenses were like a storm. Rock Lee used straight kicks in the air, but they were all neutralized by Hyuga Neji's soft palm. Finally, the two reached the critical point. Little Lee, let me taste the lotus flower. The answer to Hyuga Neji was a turning side kick. When Hyuga Neji defended, Rock Lee came behind him and was parallel to him, and the red bandage on his arm loosened. Now, 8 trigrams 64 palms. Return to heaven. Hyuga Neji was not a pushover, and then he opened his hands, and the chakra in his body burst out to form an absolute defense. Kai, are all your students so perverted? In the audience, Sarutobi Asuma could no longer laugh. A Rock Lee created his own physical technique. A Hyuga Neji directly returned to heaven. As a Konoha ninja, Sarutobi Asuma had a past with the Hyuga clan when he was on a mission. He knew that this move of Kaden was the secret technique of the Hyuga family. At the moment of being attacked, chakra rushed out from the chakra points in the body to form an absolute defense. But this technique is difficult. Even the few Jonin of the Hyuga family don't know it. Is the kid so amazing now? In the sky, Hyuga Neji, who released Kaden first, found that the bandage on Rock Lee's arm had retracted again. Isn't it the lotus flower? Ninki, the name of my move is Foolish Bird. Please teach me more. When Rock Lee spoke, the long-awaited kick slammed into Kaden. The violent kicks slammed into Kaden and were all rebounded. However, Hyuga Neji had a bad premonition. Rock Lee's Foolish Bird hasn't come yet. Whoosh. A cry like a newborn bird suddenly sounded from the shadow of the leg that was almost invisible. Here it comes. Rock Lee's kick superimposed all his chakras. Kara, one kick followed by the second kick. When Hyuga Neji resisted the first move, his expression changed drastically. Rock Lee's second kick came at lightning speed, but it paused for a second before it could turn the sky. The next moment, Hyuga Neji's absolute defense was broken. The whole person fell like a cannonball. Bandage. The red bandage on Rock Lee's arm fell to the ground first and formed a bird's nest. Boom. The ground cracked instantly. Rock Lee, who lost consciousness, fell to the ground. After Hyuga Neji coughed up blood in the bird's nest, he suddenly smelled a strong smell of blood. This was not his blood, the smell came from the bandage under him. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and support our channel.